Chapter 1. I am here to annul the marriage. Huching, Beishi Mountain Villa District. Dozens of opulent villas nestled amidst verdant hills and flowing waters. In stark contrast to this display of affluence stood Li Myukin, positioned outside the villa gates. Clad in coarse linen garments and worn gray shoes, with his long hair tied up and secured with a wooden hairpin, he resembled a destitute Taoist priest. The security guards of the villa eyed him with the vigilance reserved for thieves. Li Myukin had come to annul marriage. The betrothal had been arranged 18 years prior by his grandfather and the elder of the Lin family, the specifics of which eluded him. He had been merely 2 years old at the time, while the Lin family's young lady had yet to be born. Li Myukin was unaware of how his grandfather had persuaded the elder of the Lin family back then. At that time, the two of them relied on each other for survival, scavenging for scraps to make ends meet. When he was 7, his grandfather, who had never ventured beyond Huching, suddenly announced a long journey. He departed in early autumn, as the mountains were ablaze with red leaves. Upon his return in the depth of winter, snowflakes danced in the air. By the time they arrived home, his grandfather was left with but a breath. With a wrinkled smile upon his face, he passed away in the tender embrace of Li Myukin. Subsequently, he was taken by the passing immortal Yinyangzi to Kunlun Mountain's Tiandu Peak. More than a decade had elapsed. He had since undergone a profound transformation, standing on the cusp of entering the realm of innate enlightenment, poised to embark upon the path of eternal life. His master proclaimed that if one were to attain innate enlightenment at such a young age, he would be the first in 5 centuries. Thus, it was time to descend the mountain and seek opportunities for transcendence amidst the mortal realm. His master also remarked that immortals reside in the mountains not because they are superior, but rather because the mortal world possesses a charm that captivates the soul. Upon returning to Huching, Li Myukin's foremost intention was to annul the marriage with the Lin family. Although the Lin family was affluent, a disciple of Tiandu, under the aegis of the 10,000 immortals, could hardly bow down and serve as a mere son-in-law to a wealthy family. Moreover, the notion of a childhood betrothal felt excessively feudal and antiquated. At the pinnacle of youth, being shackled by an engagement to someone he had never met was inequitable for both parties. Thus, Li Myukin resolved to dissolve the engagement. By doing so, he hoped to sever earthly ties and solidify his resolve on the path of enlightenment, perhaps even achieving a breakthrough. Of course, he was apprehensive about the possibility of refusal after all. The Lin family had been kept waiting for 18 years. Rejection had not occurred 18 years ago now. After such a passage of time, with the Lin family's daughter having matured, it seemed rather unreasonable to suddenly declare an intention to annul the marriage. The engagement letter contained the Lin family's address, but only specified Beishi Mountain Villa without detailing which villa. Li Myukin approached the security guard to inquire, "Excuse me, is there a member of the Lin family residing here?" "A member of the Lin family?" The guard scrutinized him from head to toe. "What do you seek from them?" "Oh, I'm looking for a relative," replied Li Myukin. "A relative?" The guard's eyes glimmered with disdain. He had encountered too many impoverished souls seeking kin here. The young man before him, in tattered clothing and unkempt hair, neither resembled a Taoist nor a beggar. "All residents here bear the surname Lin. Just specify whom you are seeking," the guard remarked, his tone laced with mockery, as if to say, "Let us see whom you know." "All are surnamed Lin?" Li Myukin was taken aback. Could it be that all the villas belonged to the Lin family? It was long rumored that the Lin family was affluent, yet the extent of their wealth was truly astonishing. "I am looking for Lin Shangyi." "Come, come." The security guard suddenly adopted a fierce demeanor, appearing to shoo him away. "You may have heard of that name, but do you even know who he is? The patriarch of the Lin family is not someone you can meet casually." Unfazed, Li Myukin calmly replied, "My name is Li Myukin. If you call Lin Shangyi, you will find out." The guard, noticing Li Myukin's composure, felt uncertain. If he were indeed a relative of the old Master Lin, he could not afford to offend him. After muttering "wait here," he turned and went to the security room to make a call. As Li Myukin gazed at the villa complex before him, he couldn't help but marvel at its beauty. It was undoubtedly one of the most auspicious locations in Huching. The choice of site and the harmonious layout were clearly the result of expert guidance. What was that? Li Myukin looked up and noticed a faint, gossamer-like dark cloud lingering above the villas. It was a clear day, and this was obviously not a typical cloud. Though subtle, the average person might not perceive anything amiss but Lee Myukin's keen perception could not be deceived. A dark cloud loomed ominously overhead. It seemed this family had been targeted by someone. Should he inform them? As Lee Myukin pondered, the gate swung open, and a middle-aged man in his 50s emerged. Upon seeing him, the guard rushed over, bowing and scraping. "Manager Luo," he pointed at Lee Myukin. "This is him." Manager Luo scrutinized Lee Myukin with a mix of skepticism and disdain. "You are Lee Myukin?" "Yes." "Follow me." Without further ado, Manager Luo led Lee Myukin inside. The guard watched their retreating figures, shaking his head and muttering, "What a fortunate soul. Why don't I have such wealthy relatives?" Navigating through the lush gardens of the Lin estate, Lee Myukin became increasingly convinced that the Lin family was under scrutiny. While the feng shui of the place remained intact, the earth's energy had evidently been disturbed. The family's fortunes would undoubtedly be affected, likely resulting in a period of misfortune. He glanced up at the dark cloud above. Manager Luo escorted him into one of the opulent villas, elegantly adorned, where a regal woman sat on the sofa in the living room, impeccably well-preserved, her age indiscernible. "Madam, I have brought him," Manager Luo announced respectfully, stepping aside. The woman regarded Lee Myukin with a complex expression. She lifted a teacup and took a delicate sip, as if to dispel the misfortune brought by this seemingly humble youth. "You are Lee Myukin?" she inquired, her tone cool. "Yes." "Have you come from the mountains?" "Yes." Having answered affirmatively twice, Lee Myukin noticed that she had yet to invite him to sit. Undeterred, he boldly chose a nearby antique wooden chair and sat down. He was there to annul an engagement, not to propose. Manager Luo's gaze sharpened. That particular chair was special, one he would never dare to occupy, and he opened his mouth to reprimand Lee Myukin, only to be stopped by the woman. "Never mind, he's just a child fresh from the mountains, unaware of decorum." A smile graced her lips, yet her eyes betrayed even greater disdain. "I seek the esteemed Lin Shaoi," Lee Myukin stated, eager to clarify matters with the elder and depart swiftly. "The elder is not someone you could simply meet at will. If you have something to say, convey it to me." "You may refer to me as Madam Lin," the woman declared, revealing her identity. "Speak to me?" Lee Myukin hesitated. He had intended to meet the elder, but now found himself conversing with Madam Lin. Given her age, she could not be Lin Shaoi's wife. Rather, she was his daughter-in-law. Until the betrothal was annulled, he was faced with his future mother-in-law. The awkwardness of his expression did not go unnoticed by Madam Lin. She chuckled. "You feel somewhat embarrassed, do you not?" Lee Myukin nodded sheepishly. "Indeed, I do." Her smile widened with satisfaction. "You find it rather inappropriate to broach this subject, feeling it is excessive, correct?" "Yes," Lee Myukin replied, perplexed. "Do you know why I am here?" "Of course I do," Madam Lin sighed softly. "The name Lee Myukin has been embedded in my heart for 18 years. Like a thorn, how could I ever forget it?" Lee Myukin realized he was in a predicament. It seemed she held significant weight regarding this marriage. "Well, he stammered, striving to alleviate the potential awkwardness that lay ahead. "There is no need to rush," Madam Lin interjected. "You just arrived from the mountains. Allow me to enlighten you about the Lin family's circumstances. The Lin family has been a prominent lineage for over a century, both in wealth and status, making us one of the foremost families in Huqing. Take, for instance, the chair you are seated. Yupona, Ming Dynasty Wang Wali would carve dragon-patterned official hat chair, which was auctioned at Jayad a few years ago for a staggering 23 million. She paused, casting a glance at Lee Myukin, but seeing no astonishment on his face, she felt a twinge of disappointment. "This chair was specifically crafted for the head of the Lin family. Over the years, you're the first outsider to occupy this seat." She emphasized the term outsider, a reminder of his position. "Do you comprehend my implication?" Lee Myukin nodded. "I understand the Lin family is indeed affluent." The butler, Luo, standing behind Madam Lin, nearly erupted in laughter. Could this fellow truly be a simpleton? Madam Lin was momentarily taken aback. She did not perceive Lee Myukin as a fool, but rather as someone feigning ignorance. After all, many young gentlemen aspired to align themselves with the Lin family, and a touch of pretense might serve him well. This was the mark of a clever man. "Then allow me to articulate my point more clearly." Madam Lin raised her voice, her tone becoming decidedly sharper. "In families such as ours, matrimonial alliances are founded upon social parity. For instance, I hail from the Yin family in Meicheng, which is also one of the leading families there. When families are well matched, they can support one another in business, and couples will share a common language and pursuits. You mean to say? Lee Myukin sensed an underlying message. My meaning is unequivocal. The Lin family would never marry their daughter to a man of no standing, a pauper, Madame Lin asserted with unyielding finality. Even if it were a case of adoption, it remains out of the question. Lee Myukin suddenly found it amusing. He had come to annul the engagement. It appeared, however, that he was the one being dismissed. Chapter 2. The Master of Resilience. Whether it is a withdrawal or being dismissed, the outcome remains the same, thus saving considerable trouble. However, Mrs. Lin's demeanor was rather excessively haughty. Madam, do you truly represent old Master Lin in his entirety? Lee Myukin felt it imperative to clarify this matter. Otherwise, the dissolution of the engagement would be muddled, complicating future interactions. Mrs. Lin evidently misconstrued his intent, a sneer gracing her lips as she remarked, "You truly are tenacious. Years ago, my husband, inebriated, signed a marriage contract, but that was mere drunken jest, not to be taken seriously. Naturally, I understand that allowing you to leave without recompense would leave you unsatisfied and reflect poorly on our family. So let us propose this. You relinquish the contract, and I shall offer you 2 million. This sum should suffice for a comfortable life henceforth." With a gesture, she signaled to butler Luo, who produced a box and placed it on the coffee table, revealing neatly stacked cash within. Lee Myukin found himself stifling a laugh. He had traversed great lengths only to be offered 2 million. If he acquiesced today, the tales that would circulate among the celestial sects would be utterly humiliating. A disciple of Tiandu, under the auspices of Wuxian's sect, valued at merely 2 million, old Master Lin remained absent, leaving his true intentions shrouded. Mrs. Lin was merely attempting to buy him off. What was initially meant to sever ties had now become increasingly convoluted. 2 million. Lee Myukin lightly tapped the armrest of the chair beneath him. Valued at over 20 million, the Lin family is indeed affluent. Mrs. Lin assumed he found the offer insufficient, her cold laughter echoing. Our family's cash flow is limited. If you deem it too little, I can extend the offer to 3 million more, totaling 5 million. What say you? Lee Myukin shook his head, appearing indifferent. Mrs. Lin's brow furrowed slightly as she uttered 10 million. Lee Myukin remained silent. Butler Luo, incensed, retorted, "You insolent brat, do not overreach. Greed is perilous. Be wary of risking your life for a fortune." Lee Myukin shot a glance at Butler Luo, then turned to Mrs. Lin, inquiring, "Is this a threat?" "Consider it as such," Mrs. Lin casually conceded, tacitly endorsing Butler Luo's words. "Madam, you may come to regret this approach." "Regret?" Mrs. Lin chuckled. "I am quite curious to see how you would induce my regret." Lee Myukin rose, retrieving a yellowed piece of paper from his pocket, unfurling it upon the table. A glimmer ignited in Mrs. Lin's eyes. Now that's more like it. A young man must recognize the bigger picture and discern significance. Some things are destined to elude you, but money can undeniably alter your fate. As she reached for the paper, Lee Myukin pressed his hand firmly upon it. "Do you comprehend the purpose of my visit today? I have always believed that one's destiny should reside firmly in one's own hands, free from external manipulation. Not even my grandfather can dictate my marriage. Thus, I am indeed here to annul our engagement." Mrs. Lin was momentarily taken aback, then smirked disdainfully. She understood the youthful desire for dignity and was willing to provide him an exit. Lee Myukin methodically refolded the paper, his movements gentle and deliberate, then returned it to his pocket. "However, at this moment, I have no intention of backing down. If you wish to withdraw, have Lin Shangyi speak to me." Madame Lin and Butler Luo suddenly changed their expressions. "Lee Myukin, do you understand what you are doing?" Lee Myukin, however, chose to ignore them, turning away without a glance back. As she watched Lee Myukin's retreating figure, Madame Lin trembled with rage. A vague realization dawned upon her that she might have made a grave mistake. "Madam, should we stop him?" Butler Luo inquired. Madame Lin waved her hand dismissively. "Do not cause a scene in the residence. This matter must remain unknown to the old master." "Does the old master truly endorse this marriage?" "The old master values his reputation above all else. If he learns that Lee Myukin has arrived, he will undoubtedly compel Manqing to marry him." I will never allow my daughter to wed a beggar. Absolutely not. Madame Lin gritted her teeth. Madam, should we? Butler Luo gestured. Shall I arrange for someone to deal with this lad? Madame Lin pondered for a moment before responding, no fatalities. Just teach him a lesson and drive him out of Huching. Most importantly, retrieve the marriage contract personally penned by the old master. With a hint of fatigue, she rose and made her way towards the staircase, only to turn back and add, "Oh, and give him the 2 million. That was my promise. We cannot allow anyone to say the Lin family is stingy. Ensure he never sets foot in Huching again. Rest assured, madam, I shall attend to it immediately." Butler Luo's gaze lingered on the box of cash on the table, a glint of greed in his eyes as he murmured, "He shall never appear in Huching again." Upon leaving the Lin family villa, Li Mukin headed straight to Ling Mountain Lake in the western suburbs, where his grandfather's grave lay. Having grown up under his grandfather's care in an old house in the western suburbs, he had lived by scavenging. When he was 7, his grandfather passed away unexpectedly. Lacking the means to purchase a burial plot, he had no choice but to secretly inter his grandfather's remains on the desolate shore of Ling Mountain Lake, a place where no one would ask for payment. Ling Mountain Lake stretched endlessly before him, and as he approached the desolate shore where his grandfather lay, he beheld the lake's surface shrouded in mist, reminiscent of an ethereal realm. Among the reeds on the shore, a figure was fishing, the line cast so long that the bobber was nearly invisible. As he passed by, Li Mukin immediately sensed that this was no ordinary person, nor was he genuinely fishing. The individual was channeling vital energy, heat radiating from his body, while simultaneously the surrounding spiritual energy of the lake and mountains converged upon him. This was a master, at least at the transformation stage. However, he bore serious internal injuries and was clearly utilizing the spiritual energy of the lake and mountains for healing. Li Mukin did not anticipate encountering a master of transformation upon his arrival in Huching. Those capable of reaching the transformation stage were rare in the mortal realm. Of course, in the eyes of the disciples of Tiandu, this was hardly noteworthy. Only after the transformation stage could one attain the title of a grandmaster, and only then would they be qualified to venture into the path of Tiandu, a journey undertaken by very few. Tiandu Peak, the ancestral ground revered by the myriad sects of the world. In the past, during the war of immortals and demons, 100,000 sword immortals formed the 10,000 immortal sword array on Tiandu Peak to combat the otherworldly demons, safeguarding peace in the mortal realm. This was a place that truly overlooked the world. How could it be accessed by mere mortals? Yet Li Mukin had ascended Tiandu Peak at the tender age of 7. He paid no heed to the anglers by the lakeside, hastily passing by until he knelt before his grandfather's grave. After more than a decade, memories of his childhood flooded back, evoking a profound sense of nostalgia. The gentle visage of his grandfather materialized before him, and Li Mukin, overcome with sorrow, lamented, "Grandfather, your unfilial grandson has returned to visit you." Each heart-wrenching cry was carried away by the wind, weaving through the reeds and lingering mournfully over the expansive lake. He knelt at the grave for a considerable while, silently recounting his experiences of training under Yin Yangzi at Tiandu Peak. Ultimately, he spoke of the Lin family's marriage pact, seeking his grandfather's forgiveness. The Lin family is excessively arrogant. They must be taught a lesson. However, rest assured, grandfather, I am aware that you and old man Lin share a bond. Otherwise, that marriage agreement would not exist. Regardless of the outcome, I will repay his kindness. At that moment, 5 shadowy figures emerged on the desolate shore, swiftly approaching Li Mukin. One burly man pointed at him and inquired, "Is it him?" Another responded, "Indeed. Big brother. I've been tailing him ever since he left the Lin household." The large man drew closer to the solitary grave, scrutinizing Li Mukin, a tattered little Taoist priest. "It must be him. Brothers, keep your hands clean. Luo Yi has instructed us to eliminate this brat, and each of us will receive 100,000. Li Mukin had long been aware of someone trailing him, yet he paid it no mind, viewing them as nothing more than insignificant insects. Upon hearing the mention of Luo Yi, he frowned slightly. After bowing 3 times at the grave, he rose and turned to face the intruders. "You've chosen quite the location, haven't you? After we kill you, we can simply dig a hole and bury you here, saving the trouble of disposing of the body. Don't blame us. We are merely hired hands, collecting our pay to eliminate your misfortunes. Blame your own bad luck for offending the wrong people. Chapter 3. The ninja, a glint of malice flickered in the large man's eyes as he raised his knife. Before Lim Yukin could move, a fishing line suddenly shot up from the reeds, traversing several meters before piercing straight through the man's wrist. The burly man let out a shriek, dropping his blade. The fishing line continued its relentless course, curving gracefully in the air, piercing the wrists of the remaining 4 men in succession, eliciting cries of agony from them as well. In an instant, all 5 men were yanked into the air like kites before crashing heavily to the ground. The fishing line was so fine it was nearly invisible. They could not comprehend what had happened, their eyes wide with terror as they gazed at Lim Yukin as though he were a specter. While they saw nothing, they could not escape Lim Yukin's gaze. The delicate fishing line shimmered in the sunlight, precisely threading through the gaps between the radius and ulna of each man's wrist. This external manifestation of inner strength epitomized the essence of martial arts. Lim Yukin recognized the intervention of the elderly angler by the lakeside, yet felt no need for gratitude, and thus cast no further glance in that direction, instead walking toward the large man writhing on the ground. The burly man, witnessing Lim Yukin's approach, was struck with sheer terror, as if confronted by a demon. What do you intend to do? He stammered. Speak. Who sent you? And no one. No one. Lim Yukin crouched down, gripping the man's wrist. The fishing line remained embedded in his flesh. A gentle tug elicited excruciating pain. The stout man was not severely injured. Rather, he was more frightened than anything else and dared not resist, desperately begging for mercy. Yes, Sir Luo. Which Sir Luo? Sir Luo Mingsha, the steward of the Lin family. Indeed, it was Steward Luo. A flicker of murderous intent flashed in Lim Yukin's eyes. He bore no grudge against this Luo, so why such brutality? It appeared this was the command of Madame Lin. Does she truly wish to prevent me from becoming her son-in-law? Is she willing to risk my life for it? Lim Yukin had just vowed at his grandfather's grave to repay the Lin family's elder for his kindness. With this occurrence, grievances and debts were now balanced. Neither owed anything to the other. He recalled the ominous clouds looming over the Lin family villa. He had initially intended to offer a warning, even to assist them in dispelling their troubles. But now it seemed unnecessary. Let them fend for themselves. The stout man sensed the murderous aura emanating from Lim Yukin, growing increasingly terrified and pleading for mercy. Young man, it is wise to show mercy when one can. An elderly fisherman emerged from the reeds by the lake. Their hands are already rendered useless. They will never wield a knife again. Let them go. Lim Yukin did not wish to take a life at his grandfather's grave, but sparing such individuals who had only suffered a mere hand injury seemed too lenient. Allowing them to return would only endanger more lives. Thus, he discreetly cursed them with a hidden hand. Within 7 days, they would surely fall gravely ill. If they could repent during their illness, cultivate a pure heart, and engage in virtuous deeds, they might recover. Should they persist in wrongdoing, their malevolent spirits would remain, rendering them mere shells of their former selves, even if they survived. Scram! Watching them scuttle away from the desolate shore, Lim Yukin clasped his hands in gratitude towards the elder. Thank you for your assistance. The old man scrutinized Lim Yukin for a moment. It seems you are not ordinary if you could discern my intervention. Lim Yukin smiled faintly, choosing not to respond. You know why I helped you, young man? The elder glanced at the mound of earth. In these times, filial piety is scarce, especially among the younger generations. Though you did not weep, I could hear the profound sorrow in your voice. Your grandfather would surely find solace in having a grandson like you. With a soft sigh, Lim Yukin said, I have been unfilial. I could not even afford a proper burial plot back then and had to lay my grandfather to rest here. The elder paused, surprised. Was this not a deliberate choice of burial site? Lim Yukin shook his head. To be honest, my dear elder, I was left with nothing but my grandfather in my childhood, surviving by scavenging. When he passed, I was only 7 years old. I could not afford even cremation fees, let alone a burial plot, so I had to secretly enter him on this barren land. Suddenly, the elder burst into hearty laughter. You have indeed chosen a site of great geomantic fortune. This place gathers the spiritual essence from a 10-mile radius. It is rare to find another unclaimed location of such merit in the entire He city. Your grandfather and you have accumulated virtue, thus receiving such blessings. Li Mukin smiled slightly. He was indeed aware of the site's auspiciousness, though he had not known it at the time of his grandfather's burial. After speaking, the elder turned and returned to his fishing spot, casually mentioning, "Young man, I advise you to act swiftly. Ling Mountain Lake is undergoing major development, and this barren land will soon vanish. You should find a way to relocate your grandfather's grave." Li Mukin was taken aback, as this was something he had not anticipated. "Thank you for the reminder, elder." Li Mukin wished to repay the old man's kindness. Although the elder had intervened out of goodwill, it was still a debt of gratitude that he felt compelled to acknowledge. "Elder, you have sustained injuries from the fierce flames, and your Enway meridian is compromised. If not treated promptly, the damage may worsen and affect your very foundation." The elder paused, returning to his senses, and exclaimed in surprise, "You possess knowledge of medicine?" Li Mukin nodded. "I have a modest understanding. Can you heal my injuries?" "I can certainly attempt to." A glimmer of hope shone in the elder's eyes. "To discern my condition at a glance indicates your medical skills are exceptional. How do you propose to treat me?" Li Mukin produced a small elixir. "Consume this pill, circulate your true energy for 2 cycles, and once completed, I shall assist you with acupuncture." The small elixir was a treasure he had brought down from Tiandu Peak, rare and precious to the world, yet of little consequence to Li Mukin. Moreover, the ingredients required for the elixir could also be found in the mortal realm. The challenge lay solely in its preparation. The elder hesitated slightly, aware of his esteemed status and the numerous individuals who sought his demise. What if this young man were sent by his enemies? However, he quickly cast aside his doubts. Resolutely laughing, "Very well, let us give it a try." He accepted the small elixir and swallowed it, then sat cross-legged on the ground, beginning to channel his true energy. Li Mukin couldn't help but admire the elder's forthrightness. He was eager to forge a friendship with such a person. Before long, a white mist began to rise from the elder's head, swirling as if heated. At that moment, the reeds rustled suddenly, and a figure darted out with remarkable speed. Whoosh! 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 Several cold glimmers shot forth, aimed directly at the elder's 3 vital points. Li Mukin had already sensed someone concealed among the reeds, their presence remarkably concealed. Since it was of no concern to him, he had refrained from intervening. Now he understood that the assailant had aimed to ambush the elder. However, judging by the assailant's actions, they were merely at the pinnacle of concealed strength, inferior even to the elderly fisherman. Yet their stealthy approach demonstrated some skill. The elder, evidently aware of the intruder, exhaled forcefully and struck 3 palms in succession, deflecting the incoming projectiles. Those projectiles spun in the air before returning to the black-clad figure's hands. "Humph! Another wretch from the East Sea." The elder stood up. "Young man, you must flee. This is an East Sea ninja, though their martial prowess may be lacking. Their methods are insidious. They are after me, and I cannot engage in battle in my current state. I cannot protect you." Li Mukin realized then that it was indeed ninjutsu, explaining the concealed aura. However, a mere ninja was hardly a threat in his eyes. "Elder, focus on circulating your true energy. Do not squander the elixir's potency. Leave this person to me." He stepped forward, positioning himself in front of the elder. The elder looked astonished, concern etched on his face. "Young man, I'm aware of your extraordinary abilities, but this is a life-and-death struggle. These EC rogues are merciless killing machines. Fear not." The 2 simple words resonated with strength and confidence. "Very well, do exercise caution." The elder chose to trust him, resuming his meditation. The cloaked ninja, having missed his strike, refrained from recklessly launching another assault. In terms of prowess, he was inferior to the elder. Thus he remained concealed until the elder consumed his medicinal remedy for healing. Only then did he act. "Young man, it would be wise for you to refrain from meddling in the matters between me and that old cur, Qian Kuan. Step aside, and I shall grant you a chance at survival." The figure in black articulated in a coarse Mandarin. "Li Muchen stud resoluta." "Then allow me to witness the current advancements of Eastern ninja techniques." The ninja furrowed his brow, wary of Qian Kuan. Yet he did not regard the youth with any seriousness. Observing that Qian Kun had entered a state of deep meditation, he charged forward. "Foolish boy, you seek your own demise." The ninja's agility was formidable. A mere flicker of movement brought him before Li Mukin, a shuriken slicing a dazzling arc through the air. He envisioned the scene of the young man's head severed, blood gushing forth from his neck. However, the black-clad assailant noted the youth lifting his leg. The motion seemed unhurried, at least to his keen eyes, which perceived the act in its entirety, lacking even a trace of afterimage. Yet that very foot was swifter than his blade, as it struck the youth's abdomen just before the shining edge could greet his throat. He felt a tightening in his core, his body propelling backward at an alarming speed, crashing heavily to the ground. Attempting to rise, he struggled, but a cacophony of cracking bones echoed from his body, his ribs and spine shattered. Deprived of the opportunity to employ his ninja skills for escape, the man lay helpless on the ground, his eyes reflecting a tumult of rage, despair, regret, and fear. He gazed at the young man before him, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth, and uttered his final words. "Who are you?" Chapter 4. Reunion with an old friend. Qian Kun abruptly opened his eyes, astonished as he beheld the young man ahead. Though he was channeling his vital energy, he was not in a state of meditation. Faced with the Eastern ninja, how could he afford to lower his guard, placing his faith solely in a youth? One strike, just one strike, and he had vanquished a ninja already at the pinnacle of his dark prowess? What astonishing power was this? Even in his prime, uninjured, he could not have achieved such a feat. Could it be that this young man had reached the level of a grandmaster? Yet, at such a tender age, rumor had it that beyond the grandmaster level lies the realm of innate mastery, where one could reverse the effects of aging. Could it be? Qian Kun found it difficult to suppress his wild thoughts. Suddenly, he heard Li Mukin exclaim, "The effects of the small elixir are limited. Why are you still in a daze?" Snapped back to reality, Qian Kun hastily closed his eyes, once more channeling his vital energy, this time free of distractions. 2 hours later, Qian Kun opened his eyes, feeling invigorated, filled with energy. It had been many years since he had experienced such vitality since his injury. Qian Kun bowed respectfully to Li Mukin. "Esteemed master, may I inquire your name?" "I am Li Mukin, not a master," came the reply. "Could it be that you are of the Taoist school?" "One could say so." "So you're Taoist, Li." "We do not adhere to the notion of monastic titles, so there is no need to call me Taoist. Just address me by my name." "Ah, this." Qian Kun observed the natural demeanor of Li Muchun and felt a profound admiration for the man's carefree existence. Unlike many in the world who are consumed by the pursuit of fame and fortune, dedicating their lives to mastery merely to be hailed as master by others. "Then I shall indulge in my seniority and call you Brother Li, and you may address me as old brother." "What does that sound?" "That is acceptable," Li Muchun replied nonchalantly. "Now, I shall employ the golden needle technique to open your Inway meridian." Qian Kun's eyes brightened as he said, "Then I'm truly grateful, Brother Li." Li Muchun gestured for Qian Kun to take a seat and picked up the fishing line he had been using. "I do not have a needle on hand, so I shall make use of your fishing line." With deft fingers, he skillfully cut the line into 13 segments. Then, grasping one segment, he flicked his fingers lightly, causing the line to shoot forth like a needle, piercing Qian Kun's Tianshu acupoint. The subsequent segments followed suit, each one penetrating a different acupoint, their depths varying while the ends remained rigidly upright, trembling slightly. Qian Kun was astonished by this remarkable technique. Earlier, he had demonstrated his prowess by using the fishing line to pierce the wrists of several ruffians, which had seemed impressive. Yet, in comparison to Li Muchun, it paled in significance. Not only was the accuracy of the acupoint insertion unparalleled, but the line, though soft and pliable, remained steadfast and needle-like after release, infused with a chi that held together in a way he had never encountered before. And the sequence and method of these 13 acupoints, could it truly be the legendary ghost gate 13 needles? At last, Qian Kun was convinced he had encountered a benefactor today, perhaps the most fortuitous encounter of his lifetime. Li Muchun, exhibiting remarkable skill, swiftly completed the golden needle procedure. He withdrew the fishing line and tossed it aside, clapping his hands as he proclaimed, "All done. Your injuries are not grave. Given your foundation, with proper care over the next 6 months, you should be well on your way to recovery. If you wish to expedite the process, I can prescribe a remedy for you to take for half a month. After that, I shall assist you with another session of needles, and you shall be restored." Qian Kun was profoundly moved and expressed his gratitude. Having suffered for nearly a decade, I sought the wisdom of renowned physicians far and wide. Yet all were at a loss. I never anticipated that with just one intervention, Brother Li could bring me relief. You truly are a remarkable figure. Li Mu-chun provided him with several names of traditional herbs, advising on their usage and dosage, and inquired, "How shall I find you in half a month when I come to administer the needles?" Qian Kun replied, "I reside in Qiantang. I will come to Huqing to fetch you. Please leave your contact number." Li Mu-chun retrieved his old Nokia phone, which had seen over a decade of use, and exchanged numbers with Qian Kun. Before parting, Li Mu-chun noticed Qian Kun seemed contemplative, as if he had something to say. He asked, "Brother Qian, do you have any further matters?" Qian Kun replied, "The Lin family in Huqing is quite a prestigious lineage. I wonder if there is some misunderstanding between you and the Lin family. I have a certain rapport with Lin Shangyi. If necessary, I could act as a mediator." "There is no need," Li Mu-chun responded decisively. "It is merely a trivial matter. I can resolve it myself." Though Qian Kun wished to say more, he ultimately refrained. He understood well that what Li Mu-chun deemed trivial might not be perceived the same way by the Lin family. As he gazed at the retreating figure of Li Mu-kin, a soft sigh escaped him, and he mused, "Lin Shangyi, you have offended such a formidable individual. You can only hope for the best." Upon departing from Lingshan Lake, Li Mu-kin returned to the place of his childhood. Alas, over the span of more than a decade, the landscape had transformed dramatically. The dilapidated houses of his youth had vanished, replaced by orderly high-rises, and the once chaotic village paths had become pristine thoroughfares. Standing at the roadside, Li Mu-kin surveyed the row of immaculate storefronts, struggling to recognize where he had once lived. Just as he was about to leave, a girl emerged from a restaurant across the street. Li Mu-kin found her face oddly familiar, and upon seeing him, she stood frozen in place. After a moment, the girl timidly inquired, "Brother Mu-kin?" Li Mu-kin's heart skipped a beat, and he exclaimed, "Is that you? Ding Xiang, you truly are Brother Mu-kin." The girl leapt with joy, rushing toward him in a gesture of embrace, only to realize the impropriety of her actions, her cheeks flushing crimson. "Brother Mu-kin, where have you been all these years? Ma Shan and I have missed you dearly." Ding Xiang, the girl, had been Li Mu-kin's childhood companion. Their families were neighbors, both living by scavenging, and there was also an orphan named Ma Shan who resided in the same courtyard. Ding Xiang was 2 years younger than Li Mu-kin, while Ma Shan, considering himself the elder brother, took care of both of them. After more than a decade apart, Ding Xiang had undergone a remarkable transformation. The saying, "a girl matures in 18 changes," held true, and she had blossomed from the scruffy child of yore into a striking young woman. Fortunately, due to his diligent cultivation, despite his growth, Li Mu-kin had not succumbed to the vicissitudes of life, and the traces of his childhood still lingered in his demeanor, which allowed Ding Xiang to recognize him. It was only when she called out Brother Mu-kin that he truly realized who she was. Reflecting on their childhood memories, Li Mu-kin felt a warmth in his heart and said, "I miss you both as well. By the way, what happened to the courtyard where we used to live?" "It was demolished long ago," Ding Xiang replied with a smile. "Brother Mu-kin, you haven't returned in so many years. It's no wonder you don't recognize it. The city changes drastically, year by year. It's a pity that house wasn't ours. Otherwise, we could have shared a substantial sum from the demolition compensation." Li Mu-chen nudda, resigning himself to the loss of the old house and any lingering hopes. "How have you all fared over the years?" "Quite well. Ma Shan is now a manager at a bar. He's quite impressive." "Ah, that fellow has become a manager. How remarkable," Li Mu-kin remarked with a hint of nostalgia. "And what about you?" I have been accepted into university, and I'm currently working part-time to support my studies." Ding Xiang replied bashfully, gesturing toward the small restaurant. "I work there during the day and occasionally assist at Ma Shan's bar in the evenings." "Brother Mu-kin, you must be hungry. Let me take you to eat." Without waiting for a response, she took his hand and led him toward the small eatery. Li Mu-kin did not object, as he was indeed quite hungry. The restaurant's owner was a plump middle-aged man, appearing rather affable and honest, which put Li Mukin at ease. Upon learning that Ding Xiang had reunited with a long-lost friend, the owner personally instructed the kitchen to prepare several dishes and granted her half a day's leave to enjoy a meal with Li Mukin and perhaps show him around. Li Mukin ate while listening to Ding Xiang chatter about her life over the past decade. Brother Mukin, don't just listen to me. What about you? How have you spent these years? What do you do for work now? Matters of cultivation were not something Li Mukin could disclose, for Ding Xiang would not comprehend. He could only lightly evade the topic, saying, I am currently unemployed. Oh, I see. Ding Xiang felt a bit embarrassed, glancing at Li Mukin's attire before inquiring with concern. You're not still? Li Mukin couldn't help but smile. This girl thought he was still rummaging through trash. I have spent these years honing my skills in the mountains, and I've only just emerged with my newfound knowledge. Rest assured, I will soon earn a substantial income. My dear sister Ding Xiang has been accepted into university. Henceforth, your tuition and living expenses will be my responsibility. Ding Xiang laughed joyfully. You and Brother Masan both say that. All right. I know you're both destined for greatness. I can earn my own tuition. You two focus on your grand endeavors. Li Mukin smiled as well. Finding this sister of his utterly charming, as innocent and kind-hearted as she had been 13 years ago, Ding Xiang proposed to take him to Ma Shan's bar that evening, suggesting it might help him secure a job there. That bar was one of the largest in Huqing, and in Ding Xiang's eyes, Ma Shan was quite a figure there. So finding Li Mukin a position would surely be no trouble. Chapter 5. The fury of Old Master Lin. Old Master Lin Shangyi had recently been feeling somewhat unsettled, with a poor appetite and restless sleep. He had always led a regular life. In his youth, he had practiced some internal martial arts and had consistently engaged in Tai Chi and Bajuanjin. Despite being over 80, his health remained robust, with his private physician remarking that his heart was healthier than that of most young individuals. Yet, inexplicably, he had recently felt his health decline, experiencing fatigue and weakness, struggling to exert himself. Fearing his time was drawing near, he resolved to arrange his affairs while he still had breath, with his granddaughter's marriage being the most pressing concern. That young man from the Li family has been gone for so many years. I wonder how he fared? Every evening, Lin Shangyi was accustomed to taking a walk, but today he had barely ventured far before fatigue set in. Master, shall we return? Inquired his steward, Lin Chanming, who accompanied him. There were several stewards in the Lin household, and Lin Chanming was the head, though he did not manage specific affairs, only overseeing Lin Shangyi's daily needs. With Lin Chanming by his side, Lin Shangyi felt assured, as did everyone in the household. Chanming, you've been with me for over a decade. Haven't you? Lin Chanming was taken aback, unsure why Lin Shangyi had brought this up. Yes, it has been 16 years. 16 years. You two have aged, Lin Shangyi remarked wistfully. One cannot deny the passage of time. What troubles you, master? After all these years, it must have been quite arduous for you. Have you considered establishing your own enterprise? Lin Chanming shook his head. The master has treated me well. Chanming is content to follow and serve, with no divided heart. Haha, you think too much. Lin Shangyi chuckled heartily. At my age, it's only a matter of time before I depart. Once I am gone, what will you be following? Master Lin Shangyi waved his hand, interrupting Lin Chanming. We are not strangers, so there's no need for pleasantries. Every life inevitably faces death, and there are certain taboos. A few years ago, I purchased a small island in the East China Sea, and the development should be nearly complete. I know you prefer to avoid the mundane company of ordinary people. How about becoming the lord of a peach blossom island in the East China Sea? Lin Chanming hastily replied, Thank you, sir. Do not be so quick to express your gratitude. Lin Shangyi continued, I have another favor to ask of you. Please, sir, speak. Over 20 years ago, the calamity that befell the Lin family still haunts me. Although the Lin family appears to be flourishing now, we face both internal and external troubles in ample measure. Once I pass, I fear these issues will erupt. I would like to ask you to ensure the safety of my descendants for 3 years after my death. Rest assured, sir, this is indeed my duty. There is one more matter. A person named Li Mukin. Lin Shangyi paused and turned away, saying, Let us discuss this further when we return. As they walked back, upon reaching the entrance of the villa area, the security guard noticed the elder's return and saluted, bowing slightly, You have returned early today, sir. Lin Shangyi was always amicable with his subordinates, smiling as he replied, I'm getting old and can no longer walk as swiftly. The security guard remarked, You treat us, who are but humble servants and distant relatives from the countryside, with such kindness. My mother has always told me that good people live long lives. Lin Shangyi laughed heartily. There is no such thing as living a long life. No amount of flattery can change the fate of this old horse. Suddenly recalling something, he turned to the security guard and asked, What did you say about distant relatives? The guard replied, Is it not common for the less fortunate to come here, seeking connections? You instructed us to treat them with courtesy. Have you forgotten? Today, there's a young Taoist who came as well. Lin Shangyi was pleased and patted the guard on the shoulder. You are correct. One should not belittle themselves due to poverty, nor forget their roots in wealth. By accumulating virtues and doing good deeds, your descendants will prosper for generations. The guard chuckled sheepishly. I dare not dream of great wealth, but modest prosperity would suffice. Ha. Just as Lin Shangyi was about to leave, he suddenly recalled something, paused, and turned back to ask, You mentioned a young Taoist. What Taoist? The guard responded, There is a young fellow dressed like a Taoist who specifically came to find you, claiming to be your relative. His name seems to be Li something Chun. What did you say his name was? Lin Shangyi's expression darkened as he asked sternly. The guard, taken aback by Lin Shangyi's sudden shift in mood, stammered he is called Li Mu Chung, yes, Li Mu Chung, and was received by Butler Luo. Where is he now? He has left. Lin Shangyi, filled with fury, shouted, Bring Luo Mingsha to me. The guard's heart raced. Lin Shangyi, usually amiable, instilled fear in everyone when angered. Could this be a fraud? Alas, having provoked the elder. It seemed misfortune was imminent, and Butler Luo would also be implicated. Meanwhile, Lin Xiaoxing remained unaware of the events unfolding at home, as the elder urgently summoned him back. Recently, the state of affairs in his business has been increasingly dire, leaving him overwhelmed and unable to attend to matters at home. Upon returning to his father's residence, he found his wife, Yin Huimin, son Lin Yun, cousin Lin Lifeng, and nephew Lin Xiaoheng already present. The only notable absentees were his daughter Lin Manqing, who was studying at a university in Qiantang, and his overseas studying nephew Lin Xiaoping. Lin Xiaoxing sensed that the atmosphere was somewhat amiss upon entering. Not a single person greeted him, not even his wife, and everyone seemed to be enveloped in a heavy silence. The elderly patriarch seated on the sofa appeared calm. Yet an undercurrent of anger emanated from his visage, suggesting he had recently been in a fury. Could it be that his father had learned of the recent setbacks in his business dealings? Father, what has transpired? Lin Xiaoxing inquired anxiously. Perhaps you ought to ask your wife. The old man thundered, his voice reverberating like thunder. Inquire what commendable deed she has accomplished. Startled Mrs. Lin trembled and lowered her head, succumbing to tears. Lin Xiaoxing, perplexed by his father's outburst, approached his wife for clarification. Through her sobs, Mrs. Lin recounted the events of the day, omitting certain details. I thought offering him 2 million would be fair compensation. He has never met Manqing, yet he appeared at our doorstep. Surely, she would find it unacceptable. Moreover, how could our daughter from the Lin family marry a poor lad from the mountains? Such news would tarnish our reputation. Lin Xiaoxing grasped the situation. He was indeed aware of the childhood betrothal concerning his daughter, yet he had never taken it seriously, dismissing it as mere jest. He had never anticipated that after all these years, the suitor would actually arrive. You should have consulted father before making such a decision. He chided. Father's health has not been robust of late, she replied. I thought it best not to burden him with such trivial matters. Besides, the engagement was arranged by father long ago, and he is a man concerned with his dignity. Some matters ought to be handled by us, his children, to alleviate his worries. Mrs. Lin's reasoning was sound and compelling, her tearful demeanor evoking sympathy from those present. Lin Xiaoxing felt she had acted appropriately, considering his father's growing confusion. However, he dared not contradict his father, casting a pleading glance towards his cousin, Lin Lifeng. Lin Lifeng, the son of his late uncle, often found favor in the old man's eyes due to his father's early demise, and he spoke with a persuasive authority. Clearing his throat gently, he interjected, "Indeed, Uncle, Huimin has a valid point. Setting aside the disparity in their social standings, the fact remains that they have never met. How could Manqing possibly accept this? You are well aware of her temperament." Grateful for his cousin's support, Lin Xiaoxing stepped forward, intending to speak again. Yet, just as he began, Lin Shangyi abruptly stood, seizing the teapot from the table and hurling it with force. The sharp crack of porcelain resonated as the treasured zisha pot shattered into countless pieces. All present were left in stunned silence. This exquisite zisha pot, crafted by a master artisan and held dear by the patriarch, had been destroyed, a testament to the depth of his anger. In that moment, no one dared to utter a word. "Poor boy," Lin Shangyi scoffed. "What are the impoverished? If you trace the family tree back 3 generations, which family has never known poverty? Has your esteemed Yin family never faced hardship? I, Lin Shangyi, have known poverty as well. During my misfortunes, I struggled to find sufficient sustenance. If you all were like you are now, would I have been able to marry your mother? Father, please do not be upset. It is unwarranted," Lin Chanming, standing behind Lin Shangyi, gently advised. "It is not my anger that matters, but the utter disgrace of this unworthy brood," Lin Shangyi exclaimed, trembling as he pointed at the individuals in the living room. "My days are numbered. Should I depart, who amongst you will be capable of shouldering this vast estate? You will regret casting out Li Mukin." "Father." Lin Xiaoxing was perplexed as to the connection between inheriting the family estate and this Li Mukin. Perhaps the old man had lost his wits. Yet he dared not voice such thoughts. Instead, he inquired, "What must we do to appease you?" "Search. Mobilize everyone. Do not return without finding him," the elder Lin commanded, pointing at Lin Xiaoxing. "And tell your wife to return to Meicheng." The last remark nearly caused Yin Huimin to collapse. Chapter 6. The young lady of the Lin family Dingxiang excitedly called Ma Shan, chattering animatedly about her encounter with Li Mukin. After hanging up, she gleefully informed Li Mukin, "Brother Mukin, Ma Shan said he will take care of your job." "Oh," Li Mukin replied nonchalantly, merely wishing to indulge Dingxiang's enthusiasm. Dingxiang continued to gaze at Li Mukin. "What are you staring at? Is there something on my face?" he asked. Dingxiang chuckled. "Brother Mukin, you cannot go to work looking like this, resembling a Taoist priest. Let me take you for a haircut." Without further ado, she dragged Li Mukin to the barber shop, where Master Tony skillfully transformed Li Mukin's long hair, which he had kept for over a decade, into a chic short style. Dingxiang then took him shopping, purchasing several new outfits. With his new clothes and hairstyle, Li Mukin transformed from a rustic, impoverished Taoist into a dapper urban gentleman. Dingxiang, seeing the refreshed Li Mukin, felt her cheeks flush and softly praised, "Brother Mukin, you look so handsome." Suddenly, her expression clouded with concern as she sighed wistfully. Li Mukin, intrigued, asked, "What troubles you?" Dingxiang replied, "It is a pity that the fabric of these clothes is so poor. They do not suit you, Brother Mukin. Alas, it is my fault for earning so little." Li Mukin laughed heartily, gently pinching Dingxiang's cheek as he had when they were children, saying, "Silly girl, you are still a student. Your task is to study diligently, not to fret over money-making matters. Trust me, I will handle the earning." Dingxiang nodded earnestly. For some inexplicable reason, she felt an innate trust towards this Brother Mukin, who had suddenly reappeared after over a decade. Thus, Li Mukin was led by Dingxiang to stroll through the streets for the entire afternoon. Dingxiang, bubbling with excitement, chattered away, introducing him to the changes in Hucheng over the past several years. "Brother Mu Chun, look over there. That was once a garbage dump where we often scavenged, and now it has transformed into a CBD." Diane pointed towards the towering skyscrapers ahead. "That shopping mall over there used to be a paper factory. Do you remember, Brother Mu Chun? There was a time when I was bullied in the alley behind the factory when I was little, and you and Brother Ma Shan came to my rescue. You two fought against 4 or 5 of them. Such a sight to behold." Li Muchen stunningly remembered, but it was primarily Brother Ma Shan who did the fighting. He was still quite young at that time, 2 years younger than Ma Shan, who was more robust. He recalled how Ma Shan returned from the encounter with a bruised face, yet he stood firm, forcing that group of ruffians to retreat. Reflecting on these memories brought a smile to Li Mu Chun's face, filling his heart with an indescribable joy. "Diane, Your memory is remarkable. You were only 4 years old then, yet you still recall these events. No wonder you were admitted to such an esteemed university, he remarked, already aware that Diane had been accepted into the finest institution in Nanjiang Province, Nanjiang University. I'm not sure why, but I remember everything that happened with you all, Diane replied cheerfully. As they strolled until dusk, Diane insisted on treating him to a lavish meal at a complex before heading to the bar. Li Mu-chun felt a pang of concern for the money Diane earned through her part-time job, yet she was adamant, saying that with brother Mu-chun's arrival, she would gladly spend it all. Reluctantly, he acquiesced, silently vowing to protect this girl diligently and repay her 1,000-fold, ensuring her lifelong happiness. Outside the Blue Bridge Bar, luxury cars lined the entrance, their shimmering neon lights casting an enchanting glow against the night sky. As he passed by those opulent vehicles, Li Mu-chun felt no stir within, for he did not recognize a single one. From a distance, he spotted Ma Shan, clad in a sharp suit, standing at the bar's entrance and waving at them. Aside from his towering stature, Ma Shan's appearance had not changed much, allowing Li Mu-chun to recognize him at once. "Brother Ma Shan," Li Mu-chun greeted him warmly. Ma Shan clasped his hands firmly on Li Mu-chun's shoulders, scrutinizing him from head to toe. "Look at you. Kid, you've grown taller and even more handsome. Where have you been all these years?" "I've been studying under a master in the mountains," Li Mu-chun replied. Ma Shan did not inquire about what he had learned, instead patting his chest. "Now that you're here, you won't be leaving. Don't worry. I'll look out for you. As long as I have food on my plate, you won't go hungry." Li Mu-chun smiled. "Thank you, brother Ma Shan. Don't mention it. We're brothers. Come, let me show you around inside," Ma Shan said, leading Li Mu-chun and Diane into the bar, providing insights about the establishment as they walked. Along the way, numerous patrons and staff greeted Ma Shan, indicating his well-established presence there, which seemed to delight him immensely. However, Li Mu-chun was acutely aware that the glitz surrounding Ma Shan was not as straightforward as it appeared. From their first encounter, he had noticed the slight bruising on Ma Shan's face and the sluggishness in his veins. It was evident that Ma Shan was not merely a floor manager. He was likely involved in overseeing the establishment's operations. "Brother Ma Shan, you promised to arrange a job for Brother Myukin," Dandelion reminded. "Understood. When have I, Ma Shan, ever gone back on my word?" Ma Shan replied. "At least let Myukin familiarize himself with the surroundings first." Dandelion chuckled playfully. At that moment, they heard someone calling from behind. "Ma Shan." Li Myukin turned to see a bald man with tattoos striding in from outside, heading straight for Ma Shan. As the three ascended the stairs, the bald tattooed man descended. Ma Shan greeted him with a smile. "Oh, Brother Leopard, when did you arrive? Why didn't you give me a heads up? I could have made arrangements for you." The bald man placed an arm around his shoulder and said, "Make sure to arrange a private room for me, with the finest drinks and the best girls. I'm off to fetch Boss Liu, and he'll be here shortly." "Consider it done. I've got it covered," Ma Shan replied. Just as the bald man was about to leave, he suddenly noticed Dandelion beside Ma Shan and remarked, "This girl is quite something. A newcomer. She seems innocent. Boss Liu has a penchant for that sort. Send her over to me later." Ma Shan hesitated, saying, "Brother Leopard, she's my sister, just here for a visit. Not one of the girls here." "Sister? What legitimate sister do you have?" The bald man grinned mischievously. "All right then, it's settled." Ma Shan insisted, "Brother Leopard, this truly isn't acceptable. Listen, Ma Shan, don't push your luck. Just because you're under Sister Na as protection doesn't mean I want to make a move. I'll say it again, send this girl to my private room." The bald man shot a glare at Ma Shan, leaving a harsh ultimatum before walking out. Suppressing his rising anger, Ma Shan watched the bald man's retreating figure and let out a cold snort. Dandelion appeared visibly shaken, her complexion paling. Li Myukin suggested, "Perhaps we should leave." Ma Shan, misinterpreting Myukin's concern as fear, replied, "It's fine. This is Sister Na's territory. They wouldn't dare cause trouble. If it came to a fight, I, Ma Shan, am no pushover. Throughout my life, there's no one I've feared in a brawl." Li Myukin sensed Ma Shan's internal resentment as he forced a smile at the bald man. He recalled how, in their childhood, Ma Shan had often declared his ambition to become a figure no one would dare bully. Desiring to maintain his dignity, Ma Han insisted on not allowing Myukin and Dandelion to leave, guiding them on a tour upstairs. Initially, Ma Han intended to book them a small room to sing and unwind. However, Lee Myukin could not shake the feeling that the bald man would not relent easily. Dandelion was simply too radiant. In such a smoky bar, it was rare to encounter a girl as pure as she. Though he feared not for himself, he wished to shield Dandelion's innocent spirit from harm and corruption. In truth, Ma Han was also concerned about Face. He too did not want Dandelion to encounter that scoundrel leopard again, thus agreeing to let Myukin take her away first. As they descended the stairs, they suddenly heard someone shout, "Dandelion!" A group of 5 young people, 2 men and 3 women, entered the bar. Spotting one of the girls, Dandelion exclaimed in surprise, "Ah, Yao Lily, is that you?" Yao Lily approached with a smile. "Dandelion, I didn't expect to see you here. Didn't you get accepted to Nanjing University? Come, let me introduce you to a senior." "Really?" Ding Xiang exclaimed, both surprised and delighted. Yao Lily pulled her closer and pointed to another girl, saying, "This is Miss Lin from the Lin family, Lin Manqing." Upon hearing this name, Lee Myukin was immediately taken aback. Could it be such a coincidence? He recalled that the name of the bride mentioned in the marriage contract left by his grandfather was indeed Lin Manqing. Miss Lin of the Lin family, Lin Manqing. With the engagement still in effect, it meant that she was his fiancée. Chapter 7. You cannot afford to compensate. Lee Myukin found himself gazing at her a few more times. It must be said that Lin Manqing possessed an extraordinary beauty, exuding a unique elegance and tranquility. Cultivators are particularly sensitive to the temperament and inner spirit of individuals. Most patrons at the bar have muddled energy, and aside from Ding Xiang, the only person he encountered today who stood apart was Lin Manqing, akin to a lotus blooming amidst a tangle of wilted flowers. Lin Manqing seemed to sense his gaze and furrowed her brow slightly. "Miss Lin is truly beautiful." Ding Xiang spoke without reservation, not intending to flatter. And indeed, Lin Manqing warranted such praise. Yao Lily chimed in, "Of course. Manqing is the most beautiful woman in Huqing." Lin Manqing appeared accustomed to such compliments, dismissing them with a smile directed at Ding Xiang, saying, "You are beautiful as well. Are you studying at Nanjing University, Miss Lin?" Ding Xiang inquired. "Yes, I am in law school. What about you?" "I just got admitted this year to the Humanities Experimental class." "Oh, that's quite commendable." Lin Manqing's eyes glimmered with approval. "You needn't call me Miss Lin. I am a year ahead of you. You may address me as senior sister or just sister. Should you need anything at school, feel free to seek me out." "Thank you, senior sister," Ding Xiang replied cheerfully. Yao Lily hurriedly introduced Ding Xiang to other individuals. During the introductions, she made it a point to mention their backgrounds to highlight their distinction and the breadth of her social circle. Through Yao Lily's introductions, Lee Myukin learned that the gentleman referred to as Young Master Zhang was named Zhang Yiping, the son of the chairman of Yongqing Group. The girl standing beside Lin Manqing was named Zhang Jie, also part of the Yongqing Group's board. Lastly, the man who had been standing next to Zhang Yiping was Zhou Su, whose family was engaged in the clothing business, reportedly quite substantial. Once Yao Lily finished the introductions, Ding Xiang pulled Ma Shan and Lee Myukin over to introduce them as well. Upon learning that Ma Shan was the floor manager here, the group was quite welcoming, even requesting him to arrange a private booth for them. Then it was Lee Myukin's turn. Noticing that Lee Myukin, though dressed modestly, possessed a certain charm and demeanor, Yao Lily asked, "Where do you work, Mr. Lee?" Lee Myukin replied, "I'm still searching for a job." A hint of disdain flickered across Yao Lily's face. "Searching for a job? Would you like young Master Zhang to lend a hand?" Zhang Yiping generously offered, "No problem. Feel free to reach out to me anytime." However, he neither provided Lee Myukin with guidance on how to contact him nor offered a business card, clearly lacking sincerity. Zhou Su's gaze remained fixated on Ding Xiang, his eyes brimming with eagerness. "Brother Zhang, since Ding Xiang is Lily's classmate, why not play together?" Zhou Su suggested. Zhang Yiping was well aware of Zhou Su's intentions. Casting a glance at Ding Xiang, he couldn't help but notice the girl's undeniable charm, particularly her air of innocence, which was hard to resist. However, his affections lay elsewhere. His heart belonged to Lin Manqing, the esteemed daughter of the Lin family. In truth, It was the Lin family's vast enterprises that truly captivated his ambitions. A union with the Lin family would elevate the Yongqing group to new heights. This pursuit was not merely a matter of romance. It was a strategic endeavor. Yet, forging a connection with Lin Manqing was no simple task. Fortunately, he had a cousin, Zhang Jie, who was a close friend of Lin Manqing, affording him an advantageous proximity. Learning that Lin Manqing would be returning to Huqing today, Zhang Yiping promptly instructed Zhang Jie to concoct a reason to invite her out. Zhu Su, whose family was engaged in the garment business and rented a venue from the Yongqing group, often accompanied Zhang Yiping, positioning himself as his loyal follower. Should a woman catch the eye of this devoted companion, Zhang Yiping was more than willing to lend a hand. "I have no objections," Zhang Yiping remarked. Turning to Lin Manqing, "What do you think, Manqing?" "Of course, that sounds great," Lin Manqing replied, taking Dingxiang's hand. "Let me tell you about the happenings at school." Lin Manqing was not particularly fond of bars. Had it not been for Zhang Jie insisting that she accompany her due to a bad mood, she would not have ventured out for entertainment. After dining at the Yongqing clubhouse, Zhang Jie expressed her disinterest, prompting Zhang Yiping to propose a visit to a bar for some excitement. Lin Manqing was aware of Zhang Yiping's intentions towards her, yet she felt no spark in return. Dingxiang's presence provided an ideal opportunity for Lin Manqing to extricate herself from Zhang Yiping's advances. She had a favorable impression of Dingxiang. The girl was innocent and had earned admission to the humanities experimental class at Nanjing University, indicating her diligence and intelligence. Initially hesitant, Dingxiang felt swayed by Lin Manqing's offer to discuss school matters. Li Muqin, sensing her contemplation, remarked, "That sounds wonderful. Let's go together." He then proceeded to join them. The others were momentarily taken aback, questioning his involvement. Yao Lili muttered, "How shameless." Only Lin Manqing smiled knowingly, sensing something distinct about Li Muqin, though she could not quite articulate what set him apart. "Who invited you along?" "Zhu Li Xiaomao, Zhu Su Zito Gon Li." Yao Lili added, "Indeed, Dingxiang is my classmate. It is only because young Master Zhang is being gracious that she is allowed to join us." "Who are you anyway?" Zhang Yiping remained silent, a smile on his face. Dingxiang, feeling a bit uncomfortable, suggested, "Perhaps we should just forget it." Lin Manqing interjected, "Enough. We either play together or disperse. There's no need for hierarchies when we are out for leisure." Li Muqin cast a glance at her, thinking that this fiancé of his seemed quite agreeable. Seeing Lin Manqing take the lead, Zhang Yiping graciously declared, "It's fine. Let's all enjoy ourselves." He signaled to Zhou Su and then addressed Ma Shan. "Please arrange for the largest private room." "Absolutely," Ma Shan replied with a snap of his fingers. In the circles of the second generation in Huqing, Zhang Yiping was relatively well known. He had frequented bars before, but typically they were orchestrated by the owner, Sister Na, and he rarely arrived without prior notice. Moreover, the eldest daughter of the Lin family, a person of such stature that one could scarcely summon her even with the grandest of invitations. Ma Shan believed that Li Muqin was indeed fortunate, encountering such a noble figure on his very first day. Despite their disdain for him, what did it matter? His identity alone spoke volumes. Li Muqin, devoid of any employment, was regarded as insignificant even by Ma Shan, the manager. Should fortune smile upon them, and they were to introduce Li Muqin to an opportunity, anything would surely be preferable to working as a mere server in a bar. Once the private room was arranged, Ma Shan busied himself with preparations. Zhang Yiping's primary intention for this outing was to pursue Lin Manqing. Meanwhile, ever since Zhou Su laid eyes on Dingxiang, he seemed entranced, his gaze fixated on her. Yet Lin Manqing continued to engage Dingxiang in conversation, leaving them with no opportunity to intervene. Zhou Su suggested they exchange WeChat contacts, his focus naturally on Dingxiang. To mask his intentions, he first approached Li Muqin. "Brother, let us exchange WeChat." "What is WeChat?" Li Muqin inquired, leaving the others dumbfounded. "Brother, are you joking? You can't possibly not know what WeChat is?" Zhou Su's lips curled into a smile, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. Dingxiang quickly interjected to clarify, "Brother Muqin has just come down from mountains." Her words only intensified the disdain etched on their faces. "So, you're just a bumpkin from the hills," sneered Yao Li. Zhang Yiping feigned generosity, seating himself beside Li Muqin. No worries. Everyone has their first time. Come on, take out your phone, and let me show you how to use WeChat. Li Mu-chun retrieved his phone from his pocket. Wow, Zhou exclaimed theatrically, a Nokia? Haha, can you believe someone still uses a Nokia? Laughter erupted in the room. Even Lin Manqing couldn't help but smile, not out of malice, but rather in disbelief that a young person possessed such an antiquated device. Surely, even the most remote villages had embraced smartphones by now. Zhang Yiping glanced at the phone and remarked, "Brother, I can't help you with that. How about this? If you sing us a song, I'll gift you a new phone." He erupted into laughter. Zhou Su, encouraged by the atmosphere, chimed in, "Yes, sing us a song from your mountain. I'll get you the most expensive new phone. You can toss that old relic." He pretended to toss Li Mu-chun's phone away. Li Mu-chun swiftly snatched it back, his reflexes lightning fast, leaving Zhou Su utterly astonished. "If you break it, you won't be able to afford the damages." Zhou Su found humor in the situation, laughing, "Haha, this broken phone, and he thinks I can't afford to replace it, ha." The laughter resonated with the others. Zhang Yiping patted Li Mu-chun on the shoulder, stating, "Brother, today, you are the source of our joy." Ding Xiang, observing the mockery directed at Li Mu-chun, felt a surge of emotion, tears brimming in her eyes. Unable to bear it any longer, Lin Manqing interjected, "All right, do we want to enjoy ourselves, or should we just disperse?" At that moment, the door to the private room swung open with a loud bang, and a bald man covered in tattoos strode in, flanked by two henchmen. Quite a lively gathering. The bald man surveyed the room, his gaze settling on Ding Xiang as he grinned wickedly. "Hey, beautiful, come with me. I'll give you a generous reward." Chapter 8. An opportunity awaits. Who are you? Zhou Su, eager to showcase himself before Ding Xiang, stood up and pointed at the bald man, demanding an explanation. The bald man snickered, casually brushing aside Zhou Su's finger. "Kid, I suggest you mind your own business." "What do you mean mind my own business? This is our private room. What are you doing barging in here? Who are you?" Zhou Su pointed at the bald man once more. "Get out right now." Suddenly, the bald man seized Zhou Su's finger, twisting and bending it. Zhou Su got it, the pain forcing him to kneel. "Kid, I detest being pointed at," the bald man sneered, looming over Zhou Su. "You want to know who I am?" With that, he delivered a resounding slap across Zhou Su's face. Yao Lily and Zhang Jie screamed in fright. Zhou Su knelt on the floor, his finger trapped in the bald man's grip, each attempt to struggle only intensifying the agony. "Who am I? You dare tell me to get lost?" Another slap resounded, swelling Zhou Su's face. Everyone in the room, except for Li Mu-chun, was taken aback. These privileged young men and women, accustomed to a life of ease, had never witnessed such a scene. Li Mu-chun was taken aback by the bald man's audacity to confront someone in a private room. It was too late to take Ding Xiang away now. Leaving would only signal to others that he was easy to intimidate, likely leading to ongoing trouble, especially for Ma Shan, who might find his days at work growing increasingly difficult. The only remedy seemed to be to subdue the aggressor through force. However, Li Mu-chun remained still, curious to observe how individuals from the mundane world navigated such conflicts, particularly Zhang Yiping, the affluent young man, and Lin Manqing, the heiress of the Lin family. Zhang Yiping realized he could no longer remain passive. Having been exposed to the world, he retained his composure, rising from the sofa to address the bald man. "My friend, I'm unsure what transpired, but barging into my private room, demanding someone, and striking my brother is a bit excessive, don't you think? Who the hell are you?" The bald man shot back, his eyes icy as he regarded Zhang Yiping. "My name is Zhang Yiping, and my father is Zhang Zhenmao, the chairman of Yongqing Group. We're all here to enjoy ourselves, so how about you show some courtesy and release my brother? Let us consider this matter settled for today." "Settled?" The bald man tightened his grip on Zhou Su's finger while stroking his own bald head with the other hand. "Zhang Yiping, Zhang Zhenmao, Yongqing Group," he murmured to himself. "So you're the son of the Yongqing Group, huh? All right, I'll give you face." He finally relinquished Zhou Su's finger. Zhou Su cradled his injured hand, retreating beside Zhang Yiping, glaring at the bald man in fury, but too intimidated to speak. Just when everyone thought the ordeal was over, the bald man pointed at Ding Xiang, declaring, "I can let your friend go, but I'm taking this girl with me." Zhang Yiping frowned deeply. He was reluctant to offend such a ruffian for the sake of a fleeting acquaintance. Yet upon seeing Lin Manqing tightly grasping Ding Xiang's hand, seemingly intent on defending her, he resolved to play the hero. "You cannot take her away. She is my friend." "Oh, what a man! What a fellow!" The bald man gave Zhang Yiping a thumbs up. "I respect you, but I cannot speak for others." With that, he turned and exited. Everyone let out a sigh of relief. Yao Lily patted her chest and exclaimed, "That scared me to death. How could we encounter such a person?" Yet, young Master Zhang is impressive. His reputation alone was enough to scare him off. Zhang Yiping felt a sense of pride, chuckling as he returned to the sofa, casually remarking, "He is merely a thug." Zhou Su, having been slapped in the face, was naturally disgruntled and grumbled, "I must find someone to deal with him." Zhang Yiping replied, "Do not stoop to the level of such people. Just consider it as being bitten by a dog. Come, let us drink." Zhou Su took a couple of sips, but still felt unsatisfied. Spotting Li Mukin, who appeared unfazed, his irritation grew, and he slammed his glass onto the table. "Damn it, encountering such unfortunate people today. No wonder it's been so unlucky." Li Mukin was aware he was the target of Zhou Su's ire, yet he chose not to take offense. He believed the bald man would not let this matter rest. It remained to be seen whether young Master Zhang's reputation would still hold sway. Just as he contemplated this, the door to the private room was pushed open once more. Which young Master Zhang has such clout? Is it impossible to request a favor? As the words were spoken, a man entered, appearing to be in his 40s, with a prominent belly and a greasy face, adorned with a long scar from his chin down his neck, quivering like a living centipede as he spoke. Behind him, in addition to the tattooed bald man, were two others, standing tall, quite unlike the average thugs. Upon seeing the newcomer, Zhang Yiping's expression shifted, and he exclaimed, "Manager Liu." "Oh, so it is young Master Zhang from Yongqing. Had I known you were here, Old Liu, would have come to toast you sooner." The scar-faced man picked up a bottle of liquor from the table, glancing at it. "Black Ace, the wine is decent, but unfortunately, it is for women. It lacks character. Leopard, go fetch my liquor." The bald man acknowledged and stepped out, soon returning with a bottle of Mao Tai. The scar-faced man took the Mao Tai, poured 2 glasses, keeping one for himself, and handing the other to Zhang Yiping. "It may not be as fancy as your wine, but it has character. A man ought to drink this. Come, young Master Zhang, I toast you." Zhang Yiping hesitated slightly. The man before him was Lu Hongyu, known as Big Scar Lu, who was in the logistics business and had dealings with Yongqing Group. He had once been involved in the underworld, establishing his logistics territory through sheer force. In terms of wealth, he was not a match for Yongqing, yet he was a formidable opponent, ruthless and cunning, to the extent that even Zhang Yiping's father, Zhang Jianmao, would not dare provoke him lightly. "Manager Liu, I do not drink strong liquor," Zhang Yiping declined. Lu Hongyu's expression darkened instantly. "What, no respect? No, that's not it. Then drink up." Zhang Yiping was acutely aware that he could not abstain from the drink. His sole desire was to finish the glass swiftly, hoping that Lu Daba would take his leave immediately. He wished to avoid the company of such a person for even a fleeting moment. "Very well, I shall drink," he declared, raising the glass and downing its contents in one go. "Ah, now that's more like it," Lu Hongyu remarked, observing him as he finished. Then turning his attention to the young women seated on the sofa, he glanced between Ding Xiang and Lin Manqing, chuckling heartily. "Young Master Zhang, you are quite fortunate, aren't you? Such beautiful ladies. How about sharing one with me, Liu?" Zhang Yiping's expression darkened. "Mr. Liu, they are merely my friends." "Friends are splendid. I am friends with young Master Zhang too. Friends of friends should all enjoy one another's company. Ha ha ha. Mr. Liu, this truly cannot be." Lu Hongyu's demeanor shifted abruptly, his face hardening. "Zhang, go ask your father if he dares to drink my wine and disregard my honor." "Get lost." Zhang Yiping shivered, silenced by fear. He understood all too well that speaking further could lead to a fate akin to that of Zhou Su. It was not worth it for a fleeting acquaintance. With a cold sneer, Lu Hongyu approached Ding Xiang and Lin Manqing, surveying both as if torn between choices. Ultimately, he resolved to address Ding Xiang, saying, "Old Lu prefers this pure, lovely young lady. Come with me." Lin Manqing swiftly pulled Ding Xiang behind her, asserting, "She cannot go with you. If she does not accompany me, then you shall." Lu Hongyu chuckled ominously. Mr. Lu, Zhang Yiping began, prepared to reveal Lin Manqing's true identity. He firmly believed that regardless of Lu Hongyu's audacity, he would not dare to lay a hand on the daughter of the Lin family. However, before he could utter his words, Lu Hongyu struck him across the face with a vicious slap. Zhang Yiping felt a ringing in his ears and a burning pain on his cheek. If you utter another word, I shall ruin you, Lu Hongyu threatened. Zhang Yiping contemplated speaking again, but upon glimpsing the menacing scar on Lu Hongyu's jaw, he cowered. With a cold laugh, Lu Hongyu commanded the bald man, Leopard, take both of these ladies away. The bald man acknowledged the order and moved forward to seize Ding Xiang and Lin Manqing. Just then, a voice interjected, Do you believe you can take them? Lu Hongyu turned to see a young man in his 20s seated in a corner of the sofa. At that moment, the young man stood slowly, approaching him with measured steps. I offer you a chance. Kneel down and bow your head to each person present here. And this matter shall be forgotten, he stated calmly. Chapter 9. Can you escape? Everyone looked at Li Muqin as if he were a fool. Duda, Li Muqin. Are you out of your mind? Zhang Ge cannot handle this. What are you trying to prove? Are you trying to get us killed? Zhou Su exclaimed. Yao Lili echoed. Yes, are you insane? Don't drag us down with you. Zhang Yiping felt the urge to chastise as well. Lu Hongyu's targets were Ding Xiang and Lin Manqing. And if Lin Manqing revealed her identity, Lu Hongyu would undoubtedly refrain from acting against her. As for Ding Xiang, what connection did they have to her? Originally, it was merely a matter of losing face, but upon hearing Li Muqin's words, Lu Hongyu was incensed, a situation that could lead to dire consequences. Mr. Lu, we do not know this fellow. He has no connection to us. Zhang Yiping hastily distanced himself from the confrontation. Lin Manqing also perceived Li Muqin's manner of speaking as an inadequate means to resolve the issue, yet Zhang Yiping's words left her disheartened. Li Muqin, do not approach. I shall handle this matter, she thought, contemplating the necessity of revealing her identity and invoking her grandfather's name if required. However, Li Muqin seemed unappreciative, smiling at her and replying, There is no need for that. Just take good care of Sister Ding Xiang for me. He positioned himself in front of Lu Hongyu, shielding Ding Xiang and Lin Manqing from view. Lu Hongyu glared coldly at Li Muqin. Do you know whom you are addressing? Li Muqin replied, I do not know. I only know that if you do not hasten to kneel and apologize, you may well lose your legs. Seeking death, the bald man beside Lu Hongyu lunged forward, swinging his powerful arm toward Li Muqin's face with a punch. Gasps filled the room as onlookers believed Li Muqin's fate was sealed. Yet, Li Muqin merely lifted his hand, effortlessly grasping the bald man's fist. The bald man struggled vehemently, but his fist was ensnared as if gripped in an iron vise, unable to break free despite his exertions. With a gentle push, Li Muqin sent the bald man flying, crashing into the coffee table with a resounding thud. Bottles and glasses shattered, scattering across the floor. Zhang Yiping and the others stood frozen in astonishment. Lu Hongyu squinted. So you possess martial skills. No wonder you are so arrogant. With a wave of his hand, two bodyguards stepped forward. The fallen bald man rose and, along with the two bodyguards, flanked Li Muqin. Lin Manqing could not restrain herself. Be cautious. They are numerous. Seeing Lin Manqing's worried expression, Zhang Yiping felt a surge of jealousy, wishing fervently for Li Muqin's demise. At that moment, a sultry voice echoed from outside. Who is so bold as to cause a ruckus at Lanjiao? A striking woman entered, clad in a form-fitting qipao of fragrant cloud silk, her figure curvaceous and alluring, moving with the grace of a serpent. She exuded a mature allure akin to that of a ripe peach, captivating every man with her every step. Ma Shan followed closely behind, brandishing a steel pipe over a meter long. Several security personnel trailed in their wake, drawing a crowd at the entrance. Who is she? Zhou Su inquired quietly. She is Zhou Na, the proprietress of Lanjiao Bar. Everyone in our affluent circles in Huqing knows her, Zhang Yiping whispered. It is said that many wealthy men have fallen under her spell. Oh, ISNT that, Mr. Lu? Zhou Na greeted with a beaming smile. What brings you to our humble establishment today? Upon seeing Zhou Na, Lu Hongyu chuckled slyly. Najia, have I ever been stingy while spending in your establishment? Yet, it seems I cannot even enjoy the company of a woman. How about this? I no longer desire her. Instead, you accompany me for an evening, and we shall consider this matter settled." A fleeting look of disdain crossed Zhou Na's eyes, yet her face remained adorned with a smile. "General Liu, at my age, how could I compare to a young girl? Let me treat you tonight. You may choose any girl from here. Does that include her mother?" Lu Hongyu pointed to Ding Xiang. Zhou Na glanced at Ding Xiang. "She is not one of our princesses. I cannot impose upon her." Li Mukin looked at Zhou Na with mild surprise. "General Liu, perhaps you should select someone else. If none are to your liking, I can arrange for someone from another establishment until you're satisfied. What do you think?" "Najia, you are quite generous." Lu Hongyu gave Zhou Na a thumbs up. "However, I, Lu, am rather stubborn and have set my sights on this girl. If I do not have her, I shall find no peace in eating or sleeping. Najia, please guide me on what to do. What does General Liu wish to do?" Liu Hongyu gave rond over Zhou Na inabeshedly. "As I said, if you are willing to take her place, I, Liu, would be thoroughly content. What if I say no?" Zhou Na's smile vanished, replaced by a cold demeanor. Lu Hongyu chuckled. "There is another option. Transfer your shares in the bar to me, and I shall manage the establishment. Of course, I will offer you a fair price." Zhou Na paused, then burst into laughter. Her laughter was so enchanting that it stirred the hearts of the men around her. "Ah, so General Liu has taken a fancy to my little business. Very well, I have no objections. But you know this establishment is not solely mine. How about I call Uncle Ming? If he agrees, I shall have no issues." Upon hearing Uncle Ming's name, Lu Hongyu's expression shifted slightly, and he laughed heartily. "Najia, I was merely joking. Let us forget about this today. We shall take our leave." As they turned to depart, a voice called out from behind. "Are you able to leave?" It was Li Mukin who spoke. Lu Hongyu turned around. "What do you want?" "Kneel and admit your fault, or leave behind a leg." Li Mukin replied. Lu Hongyu spread his arms, looking at Zhou Na. "Najia, you see, this is not me lacking respect for you." Zhou Na furrowed her brow slightly. Beside them, Ma Shan quickly interjected. "Najia, this is my younger brother, Li Mukin." Zhou Na nodded. "Ah, so he is Ma Shan's brother. Very well. Let us consider it a favor to me and let it go." Yet Li Mukin coldly retorted, "Why should I give you face?" Zhou Na's expression darkened. "Ma Shan, what is going on with your younger brother?" Ma Shan was taken aback by Li Mukin's response. "Mukin, let today's events pass. Please take Ding Xiang home." Li Mukin raised an eyebrow, fixating on Ma Shan. "Ma Shan, I still call you brother out of respect for your past kindness. Since childhood, I have admired you as a man of integrity and valor. I recall you asserting that you would never allow anyone to bully our dear Ding Xiang. Now, someone has dared to bully her. What do you propose we do?" Li Mukin did not intend to coerce Ma Shan. He merely wished to ascertain whether Ma Shan remained the same person he once knew, and whether he was still worthy of brotherhood. Ma Shan's gaze was somewhat intricate. "Brother, it's not that I am cowardly. You do not comprehend the complexities of this situation." Li Mukin remained silent, suddenly stepping forward to deliver a sharp slap to Lu Hongyu's face. Caught off guard, Lu Hongyu was taken aback, his bodyguards equally bewildered. "What are you all standing there for? Get someone to end him," Lu Hongyu commanded. Realizing there was no turning back, Ma Shan brandished a steel pipe and bellowed. "Who dares to move?" Everyone froze in shock. Lu Hongyu, covering his face, pointed to Zhou Na and exclaimed, "Sister Na, are you truly going to oppose me?" Zhou Na furrowed her brow. Ma Shan replied, "Sister Na, you have been kind to me over the years. As long as I draw breath, I will repay you. I apologize for today's events." With that, he swung the steel pipe, striking the tattooed bald man squarely on the head. Li Mukin nodded, a smile gracing his lips. Indeed, Ma Shan was still the same. The fearless, loyal Ma Shan had not changed. As Ma Shan took action, Li Mukin moved as well. He raised his foot and kicked Lu Hongyu's knee with force. The sound of a bone snapping echoed, and Lu Hongyu's leg bent at an unnatural angle. Accompanied by a blood-curdling scream, Lu Hongyu collapsed to the ground. "I offered you a chance," Li Mukin shook his head. Lu Hongyu cried out in anguish. "Call for help. Quickly summon my men. Have them kill him." Chapter 10. The garment of 18 falls. We cannot allow him to call for help. Zhou Na reacted swiftly. The security immediately sealed the exits. Yet Li Mukin said, "Let him call." Upon hearing this, Zhang Yiping finally concluded that Li Mukin was indeed a madman. Zhou Su seethed with rage. wishing he could silence him with a single bite. Allowing Lu Hongyu to summon help was tantamount to courting death. Zhou Na crossed her arms, gazing at Li Muqin with inquiry. Do you even realize who Lu Hongyu is? How many subordinates he commands? If he calls for them, will this establishment still be standing? I recall, when we were young, Brother Mashan often taught us that to strike a snake, one must aim to kill. To confront a person, one must conquer them. Li Muqin glanced at Mashan. Zhou Na paused, a flicker of understanding crossing her face. Inspired by Li Muqin's words, Mashan regained his bravado. Sister Na, rest assured, today's affair is between us brothers. It will not implicate the bar. Zhou Na shot Mashan a disapproving glare, as if to say it was easier said than done. She promptly ordered, clear the venue. All guests are to be comped and issue a discount voucher. One security guard went out, and soon a cacophony erupted outside. The bar's abrupt clearance incited discontent among the patrons. Li Muqin turned to Lin Manqing and said, You should leave as well. Please look after Ding Xiang. Lin Manqing nodded silently. Li Muqin then addressed Ding Xiang. Sister, wait for us outside, and remember to stay with Miss Lin. Lin Manqing was puzzled as to why Li Muqin emphasized that Ding Xiang should remain with her. Li Muqin was acutely aware of Lin Manqing's identity. As long as Ding Xiang was with her, she would undoubtedly be safe. Ding Xiang wore a worried expression, but chose to follow Lin Manqing regardless. Zhang Yiping and the others also departed. Seizing this moment, Lu Hongyu's bodyguards had already disseminated the message. Their reinforcements were en route. As the bodyguards sent out the notification, Zhou Na noticed. She initially intended to intervene, but recalled Li Muqin's earlier words. When you strike a snake, ensure it is dead. When you confront a person, ensure they are subdued. Indeed, even if Lu Dabala was not summoned today, his resentment would linger, leading him to seek revenge in the future. Thus, it was more pragmatic to subdue him completely. However, Zhou Na doubted Li Muqin and Ma Shan possessed the capability to achieve this. She herself could not. Yet there was someone who could. Consequently, she sent a message to Uncle Ming. In Heecheng, only Uncle Ming could manage a person like Lu Dabala effectively. Before long, several vehicles arrived outside the bar at breakneck speed, 1 sedan and 2 vans. 4 individuals disembarked from the sedan, while dozens poured out of the vans, each wielding weapons. This scene was witnessed by Zhang Yiping and his companions, who had yet to distance themselves. Goodness, is a battle about to ensue? One remarked, Those are Lu Dabala's men. Zhang Yiping replied, a glimmer of hatred flickering in his eyes. Though it was unclear whether it was directed at Lu Hongyu for humiliating him or at Li Muqin. Once the bar was cleared, an eerie silence descended. Yet, everyone understood that this tranquility belied an impending tempest. A throng surged into the bar, ascending to the private rooms on the second floor. Liu Hongyu, groaning on the ground, suddenly perked up upon seeing the newcomers, pointing at Li Muqin and ordering, Get him! Kill him! The assailants, armed with clubs and knives, charged towards Li Muqin. Ma Shan bellowed, If you wish to harm my brother, you must first contend with me. Brandishing a steel pipe, he plunged into the fray. He maneuvered with the grace of a tempest, blocking and dismantling attacks as if no one were present. Zhou Na was taken aback. Having known Ma Shan for many years, she was aware of his prowess, but had not anticipated such remarkable skill. Yet, as she continued to watch, she realized something was amiss. No matter how formidable Ma Shan was, he was merely human. How could he possibly fend off dozens alone? He could only handle a few opponents at a time, while others flanked him from behind or attacked Li Muqin. Strangely, Li Muqin appeared almost motionless, as those who charged at him either stumbled and fell or misdirected their strikes, inadvertently hitting their own comrades and alleviating the pressure on Ma Shan. Zhou Na observed intently, perplexed by Li Muqin's unwavering composure. Before long, Lu Hongyu's men lay strewn across the ground. Ma Shan, flushed with exertion and fury, stood in the center like a deity, panting heavily. Even he could scarcely believe his ability to vanquish so many, knowing full well that Li Muqin had aided him. Brother, I never imagined you had trained so diligently in the mountains, honing such remarkable skills. Ma Shan laughed heartily. What a thrill! It has been ages since I engaged in such a satisfying brawl. Now who else dares to challenge me? Lu Hongyu could scarcely believe his eyes. So many had been eliminated. However, upon noticing two individuals behind him, he breathed a sigh of relief. Zhou Na also observed these two figures. During Ma Shan's earlier confrontation, they had remained motionless. One stood vigilantly, intently watching Ma Shan, while the other, resembling a meditative monk, did not even flutter an eyelid. "What are you two dawdling for? Get in there," Lu Hongyu shouted. Only then did the duo step forward. The first approached Ma Shan, while the seemingly tranquil middle-aged man advanced towards Li Mukin. The individual approaching Ma Shan unsheathed a short knife from his waist, without uttering a word, and lunged directly at Ma Shan's ribs. "Excellent," Ma Shan exclaimed, dodging the attack and retaliating with his club. The two engaged in a fierce battle within the confines of the private room. The bodyguard wielded his knife with precision and decisiveness. Each strike aimed to be lethal, while Ma Shan's clubwork was bold and expansive. Li Muchen, noticing that Ma Shan was not faltering but rather growing bolder in combat, felt reassured and redirected his attention to the approaching figure. It was evident to him that this man was a martial arts expert. They stood face to face in silence. "Lao Huang, make your move. Disable him. But leave him alive. I want to savor the pleasure of his demise," Lu Hongyu commanded. Silence. Master Huang did not even glance back. Lu Hongyu promptly fell silent, much to Zhou Na's astonishment. She had assumed Master Huang was merely Lu Hongyu's hired muscle, yet he seemed to command a certain respect, leaving her pondering the underlying dynamics at play. Master Huang clasped his hands towards Li Mukin. "I am Huang Hai of the Iron Garment sect. I noticed the technique you employed earlier, the 18 Falls of Garment, exhibits considerable skill. Pray tell, which school do you hail from, and who is your master?" A spark of recognition ignited within Zhou Na. So it was indeed the 18 Falls of Garment. No wonder. Li Mukin couldn't help but chuckle. "Lisman mistog celestil prowess famia technique." The 18 Falls of Garment required one to draw an opponent close and then utilize internal and agile force to throw them away. It was a method of leveraging strength against strength. Conversely, Li Mukin practiced the celestial techniques, the 9 turns of mysterious primordial power. Although he had not yet attained innate mastery, tossing several ordinary individuals from a distance was merely child's play. The Iron Garment sect. Li Mukin shook his head. "I have not heard of it." Huang Hai assumed Li Mukin was feigning ignorance. How could a martial artist be unaware of the Iron Garment sect? Enraged, he retorted, "You insolent brat. Then allow me to demonstrate the 18 horizontal techniques of the Iron Garment sect." With that, he swung his arm, tearing his garments to shreds, which fluttered in the air like snowflakes. This display left everyone in the private room utterly astonished. Zhou Na felt a surge of anxiety, worried that even Uncle Ming would struggle to control the situation. Lu Hongyu laughed heartily now. "Do you see? This is true skill. You are doomed." At that moment, Ma Shan had cornered the other bodyguard, who, battered and bruised, could no longer withstand the relentless onslaught of Ma Shan's club strikes, and soon fell to the ground. As Ma Shan turned around, he was startled to witness the scene of Huang Hai being attacked. Concerned for his brother's well-being, he rushed forward. "Allow me to test your skills first." With that, he raised his staff and struck. Huang Hai did not evade, allowing Ma Shan's blow to connect with his chest. A dull thud resonated, akin to striking a leather-wrapped iron plate, causing the staff to rebound and leaving Ma Shan's arm tingling. "Goodness, he truly possesses the iron cloth." Exclaiming his admiration, Ma Shan picked up a dagger from the ground and aimed for Huang Hai's throat. Yet, Huang Hai remained unmoved. The dagger met his throat, but the blade failed to penetrate even a fraction. Ma Shan was about to attempt again when he was halted by Li Muchen. "Let me take this one." He stepped in front of Huang Hai. "Did you not claim that I would fall to your 18 falls? Allow me to demonstrate how my 18 falls could dismantle your golden bell and iron cloth." As soon as he finished speaking, Huang Hai was already sent flying. Chapter 11. Uncle Ming with a resounding crash. Huang Hai collided heavily against the wall. Though the impact was severe, his iron cloth training rendered it harmless. What took Huang Hai by surprise was that he had not clearly seen Li Muchen's movements. Chapter 12. Southern-style Tai Chi after dealing with Lu Hongyu. Li Muchen intended to leave. Dai Lang was still outside, and although he had entrusted her to Lin Manqing, he felt a twinge of concern. "Brother Ma Shan, let us depart." "You too," Take me. Chapter 13. The Lin family's dignity, a thought crossed Li Muchen's mind. In navigating the world, one should not hastily resort to celestial spells. Why not learn the southern style, Tai Chi? Thus, he executed a recently learned maneuver, sweeping his hand like a pipa. Yet this time, he refrained from unleashing the full force. Chapter 14. A favor returned. Lin Manqing did not anticipate Feng Tianming's outburst, nor his blunt refusal. Nonetheless, she was unwilling to concede defeat. Uncle Ming, you spare my friend today. I shall remember this kindness and repay it in the future. Chapter 15. I am your betrothed. Dailang was uneasy about Lin Manqing returning home alone, prompting her to enlist Ma Shan and Li Muchun for escort. This task naturally fell to Li Muchun. Lin Manqing did not decline. Li Muchun traversed the road. Chapter 16. Homeward bound Lin Manqing wished to scream. Yet no sound emerged, only muffled whimpers. The man's grip was strong, rendering her unable to break free. Another man tossed her bag to the ground, approaching her with a sinister grin. Chapter 17. Let me calculate for you. By the time Lin Manqing returned to the villa, it was late at night. Yet her family remained awake. Her father sat solemnly on the living room sofa, while her mother appeared troubled beside him. Her younger brother, Lin Yun, held a handheld device. Chapter 18. The Lin family search. Upon arriving in Huqing, Li Muchun had no place to stay and spent the night at Ma Shan's home. Though referred to as a home, it was merely a cramped underground room, damp and stifling, permeated with a musty odor. Brother Shan. Chapter 19. The Taoist, named Li the Taoist, surnamed Li. In the Zhao family of Huqing, Patriarch Zhao Sihai furrowed his brow as he listened to the steward's report. Are you aware of this? Chapter 20. The stone gamble. After dinner, Li Muqin noticed the shop was not very busy, so he requested leave from the proprietress to take a stroll. She readily agreed and handed him 200 yuan, urging him to enjoy himself. Chapter 21. A slice of fate. Zhou Na was somewhat surprised as she glanced at Li Muqin through the rearview mirror. Mr. Li is truly an astute individual, she admitted candidly. Li Muqin chose to remain silent, closing his eyes to rest. Chapter 22. Master of Martial Arts. A gasp from the owner immediately drew the attention of those nearby. As onlookers beheld the stone, now cleaved in two, they gasped in awe. What a hue! What a luster! Such finds are rare indeed. Chapter 23. The Cha family of Haicheng Feng Tianming thought Li Muqin's remarks were a bit presumptuous, yet since he had politely declined, he did not press the matter further. The second matter is that I see Mr. Li has a keen understanding of antique jade. I often collect some myself. Chapter 24. Into oblivion. This was the first time Li Muqin had heard of the Cha family, and he felt a twinge of curiosity. At that moment, Zhou Na approached him, whispering, among the prominent families in Huqing, the Cha family does not rival the Lin, Feng, or Zhao families in strength yet. Chapter 25. Sorcerers of the South Seas, Zhou Na and Ma Shan, stood dumbfounded. Such ethereal sorcery was beyond their experience, feeling almost surreal, akin to watching a film. Li Muqin said, "It's all right, let us depart." Chapter 26. Prepare for the aftermath. Li Muqin was uncertain whether Lin Shangyi had met with an accident or was nearing his end. Regardless, he felt compelled to meet the elder and inquire about past events. His grandfather had merely been a ragpicker. Chapter 27. A favorable proposition. What? The Lin family members were taken aback. Is he truly Li Muqin? Indeed, that is him. Mrs. Lin pointed at Li Muqin. He has merely changed his attire and groomed his hair. Chapter 28. A healing touch in the hospital room. Li Muqin sat at the bedside. Lin Chanming stood beside him, ready to intervene should Li Muqin make any sudden moves. The Lin family, along with Director Yao and two experts, stood behind him, observing intently. Chapter 29. Taking on a disciple. Are you Li Muqin? Though Lin Shangyi was in a coma, he was not entirely oblivious to the world around him. He could hear the commotion. Replied Li Muqin. Chapter 30. A legacy. Our family is quite substantial, yet we fear exploitation by unscrupulous individuals. Thus, we manage the birth dates of our family members with great rigor, especially my father's. Only close relatives are privy to such details. Outsiders may only ascertain the year and month of birth, but could never know the precise hour. Chapter 31. Revitalizing the Li family half of the Lin family's fortune was indeed tempting. However, what astonished Li Mukin more was the revelation of his own heritage. As a child, he had scavenged with his grandfather, often going hungry and lacking warmth. Chapter 32. A grand adventure today, Li Mukin wore a grim expression. This old man was, after all, intent on marrying his granddaughter to him, becoming the son-in-law of the Lin family grants one half of their wealth. This serves as the foundation for revitalizing the Li family. Chapter 33. The one who makes sixth master yield, the mahjong parlor was modest in size. Yet the interior was quite spacious. With several tables spanning from the second to the third floor, there were also a few private rooms. Sister May was well acquainted with the patrons inside and quickly found a table to sit down at. Chapter 34. Young Master Li upon exiting the Ailu mahjong parlor. Sister May produced 10,000 yuan from her bag and handed it to Li Mukin. "What is this for?" "It's for you." "I don't want it," Li Mukin replied, shaking his head. Chapter 35. Dogfighting. The parking lot was filled with a variety of vehicles, including numerous luxury cars. Ma Shan initially thought it was merely an underground dog-fighting arena, believing that his Porsche was impressive enough. However, as he approached, Chapter 36, acquaintances Ma Shan was taken aback. They had brought merely 200,000. To wager it all in one go seemed excessively bold. He wondered if his brother had inadvertently stepped into the role of young Master Li. Chapter 37. And over his head the fierce battle between two dogs had reached a fever pitch, and no one noticed Li Mukin and his companions entering. Huang San leaned over to whisper a few words to Kai Weiman. Kai Weiman merely waved his hand, not even glancing towards the entrance. Chapter 38. I was wrong. As Chun Wenxue entered, Boss Zhou from Wuzhou burst into hearty laughter. "Young Master Chun, if you hadn't returned, we would have thought you had run away." "How could I run from an appointment set by President Zhou?" Chapter 39. I am Li. Here from the capital, Li Mukin's movements were swift and precise, with not a drop of blood on him. Scarface Lu howled like a slaughtered pig, his face smeared with blood. No one anticipated Li Mukin's sudden action. Chapter 40. I wagered 1,400,000. The wager between Scarface Lu and Li Mukin ultimately became a mere interlude. The night's true significance lay in the rivalry between young Master Chun of Xinzhou and Boss Zhou of Wuzhou. Li Mukin later learned that they were competing for. Chapter 41. The canine trainer from the east and the Tibetan shaman. The competition commenced in earnest. The female dog trainer from the east delivered a decisive slap to the Tosa, commanding go. Meanwhile, the indigenous dog trainer from Tibet emitted a series of strange sounds. Chapter 42. Summoning the souls. The Tibetan Mastiff was firmly grasped by the neck by the Eastern woman, rendered motionless and devoid of its ferocity. Confident in her training prowess, she did not even glance at the Mastiff, fixating instead on the needle clutched between her right fingers. Chapter 43. The Phantom Soul Summoning Technique. Li Muchen Skinta. Gazing at the bowl belonging to the Tibetan shaman. It was a complete, refined skull. Certain esoteric sect from Tibet, alongside Western necromancy. Chapter 44. Let there be light. Gu Yanzhou was somewhat skeptical. However, his energy had dissipated, severely diminishing his combat capabilities, leaving him no choice but to trust in Li Mukin. The elder nodded and quietly returned to Chun Wenshue's side. Chapter 45. The Divine. Upon witnessing this scene, Gongbu collapsed onto the ground in a state of utter defeat. A profound silence enveloped the vast factory, an eerie stillness that rendered the atmosphere lifeless. No sound dared to break the tranquility, save for the warmth of Li Mukin's palm. Chapter 46. Meeting at the old place emerging from the dog racing venue. The night had deepened. Ma Shan was particularly exuberant, laughter spilling forth as he drove. Brother, no Ligu from now on. Chapter 47. A scholar can stabilize the nation. A warrior can secure the realm. Li Mukin and Lin Manqing convened at their familiar rendezvous. In the late hours of the night, the barbecue stall was nearly deserted. From a distance, Li Mukin spotted Lin Manqing seated at the same table they had occupied last time. Chapter 48. Heir of the family Master Li. Are you currently at the Wei Yi Road food stall? Yes. Master Lin is aware of your meeting with Miss Lin there. It may pose a disadvantage for you. Li Muteng. Chapter 49. Lacking strategy and courage, Lin Xiaoheng strode directly towards Li Muqin and Lin Manqing. Approaching their table, he placed a foot on a chair, towering over them. Quite romantic, I assenti it. Meeting here in the dead of night. Lin Manqing furrowed her brow. Chapter 50, Self-Inflicted Misery. Muchan. Lin Manqing softly called his name. It was the first time she had addressed him in such a manner, and a slight blush crept across her cheeks. Let us go. Li Muqin. Chapter 51. A price must be paid. Furious, Lin Xiaoheng bellowed. Li Muqin, you'll not escape this. Are you all dead? Move now. His subordinates finally reacted, encircling them. Li Muqin remained unperturbed, his gaze icy as he observed Lin Xiaoheng's impending self-destruction. Initially, Lin Xiaoheng felt a twinge of fear, but seeing Li Muqin's inaction and his men shielding him, he began to feel secure. One's strength falters against sheer numbers. Ha! Li, weren't you just boasting? Dare to strike me. I will ensure. Chapter 52. A burden to bear. The incessant clinking of payment notifications left the owners of the barbecue stall in a state of stunned disbelief. Under normal circumstances, such sounds would bring them joy. Yet now, anxiety gnawed at them, fearing retaliation come morning. Li Muqin, sensing their trepidation, reassured them. Rest assured, no one will dare retaliate against you. Keep today's transaction records safe. Should you encounter trouble, everyone who transferred money today will be a suspect. If the police fail to act, seek me out, and I shall intervene. The stall owner. Chapter 53. I do not wish to perish. Yang Zihua rose. Gesturing lightly, the 8 bodyguards he had brought advanced, encircling Li Muqin and Lin Manqing. Li Muqin paid them no heed, instead directing his gaze at Lin Lifeng, asking, Are you truly prepared to take action? Lin Lifeng's eyelids flickered. He understood that once he stepped forward, there would be no turning back. Eliminating Li Muqin posed no significant issue. Yet Lin Manqing was different. She was Lin Xiaoheng's daughter, dearly cherished by the elder. However, Lin Xiaoheng's words left him conflicted. Chapter 54. I have my own rules. This was a plan that Li Muqin had meticulously orchestrated long in advance. From the moment he arranged to dine on barbecue with Lin Manqing, he had meticulously devised a plan. First, he instructed Mas Han to discreetly convey the information to Kai Weiman. By gauging Kai Weiman's reaction, he aimed to assess the man's potential utility. Kai Weiman relayed the information to Lin Xiaoheng, subsequently placing a call to Li Muqin. Since Lin Xiaoheng intended to take action against Lin Manqing, he was certain to appear. This was a rare opportunity. Li Muqin was determined to uncover whether Lin Xiaoheng had been subjected to the insidious method known as the nail-headed arrow book, and if it was indeed Lin's doing. Chapter 55. Born to be the nail-headed arrow book. Lin Lifeng evidently encountered this term for the first time, his expression one of confusion. Li Muqin could not help but question his own judgment. To whom did you disclose the birth details of the old master? He rephrased his inquiry. Lin Lifeng hesitated momentarily, but upon seeing his son lying on the ground, he sighed and asked, If I tell you, will you spare my son? Li Muqin let out a cold laugh, which sent a shiver down Lin Xiaoheng's spine. Chapter 56. The True Aristocracy. Aristocracy? Master Rong appeared taken aback. There are countless wealthy individuals in the capital. How do you define wealthy? Is someone who rides a bicycle to work and lives alone in a Sihiyuan considered wealthy? If a household possesses antiques so abundant that even the cat's bowl is made of Ming blue and white porcelain, does that count? Or if one runs a ranch with 10,000 sheep solely to please their pet sheepdog, is that considered wealthy? Indeed, Xiao Yang exclaimed, giving a thumbs up. I wonder what these magnates dine on. Do they eat meals worth thousands at every sitting? Master Rong replied, Wealthy individuals are still human. They can be satisfied with half a kilogram of meat. Chapter 57. A deep-seated hatred. Madame Lin took the initiative to sweep the entrance, not merely due to losing a wager. No one would revel in such a situation, even if Li Muqin had showcased miraculous medical skills in healing the old master. Her elation stemmed from the events of the previous night. Upon hearing that Li Muqin had broken Lin Xiaoheng's leg, Yan Huimin nearly leaped with joy. This was an act she had long desired, yet felt unable to execute. Lin Xiaoheng, that scoundrel, not only stirred trouble outside, but had also taken pleasure in bullying Lin Manqing and Lin Yun since childhood. Yin Huimin had long since grown weary of his antics. Chapter 58. Always at your service. Lin Xiaoxing's expression shifted slightly. Elder sister, there's a reason for this. Silence. The woman shot him a glare. I am not inquiring about your opinion at present. If you attempt to defend him, I shall deal with you as well. Lin Xiaoxing felt a chill wash over him, anger simmering beneath the surface, yet he refrained from speaking given her status. What? Now you dare not admit it. Weren't you quite the hero last night? Why are you acting like a coward now? Li Muchen Ningkidat. The woman paused, then laughed derisively. You dare to ask who I am? Just ask them. They will tell you. Chapter 59. Indifference to everything. The Lin family began exchanging ideas on how to evade the reprisals of Lin Lai and Yuan Guocheng. Lin Manqing, unable to remain silent, interjected, Mother, aunt, why does it sound as if this is solely Mukin's affair? He clearly offended our aunt for the sake of our family. So, are we not helping him find solution? Lin Xiaofeng remarked. He was far too impulsive just now. Throwing money in your aunt's face. What was that supposed to achieve? It would have sufficed to let her vent her frustrations. Now, having offended the Yuan family, we are not the ones at a loss. But you still need to attend school in Qiantang. Chapter 60. This is clearly the elder. The Lin family's ancestral hall is situated in the southwest corner of Beishi Mountain Villa, featuring a standalone structure designed in the style of ancient family temples. The hall is quite spacious, comprising a main area for ancestral tablets, as well as a lounge and a conference room. Lin Shangyi reclined in a wicker chair in the lounge, his eyes gently closed. Li Mukin sat beside him, his fingers resting on the old gentleman's pulse. Lin Shangyi's energy remained relatively stable. Following the infusion of vital energy, his life signs had normalized, yet his spirit remained exceedingly frail. It was evident that the one who had employed the nail-headed arrow technique. Chapter 61. Slapping the Lin family's face at this moment. The Lin family could no longer remain seated, rising in unison to glare at Li Mukin. In the ancestral hall, before the ancestral tablets, striking the eldest daughter of the Lin family not only affronted Lin Lai, but also humiliated the entire Lin clan. Get out! Who do you think you are, daring to strike our elder sister? Lin Xiaoxing, what is your intention? Have you deliberately brought such a person to disgust us? The crowd was incensed. Most of them were unaware of the events that transpired the previous night. Chapter 62. Establishing authority and virtue. Upon hearing the elder's words, Lin Manqing and all those standing with Lin Xiaoxing felt a jolt of apprehension, while Lin Lifeng's heart surged with delight. He sensed that his fate might be on the verge of a turnaround. The others regarded Li Mukin with mocking expressions, as if they could already foresee the grim outcome awaiting him. Becoming a son-in-law of the Lin family seemed impossible now. Preserving his life might be the best outcome he could hope for. Li Mukin clasped his hands and said, Elder, I mean no offense to the Lin family. Chapter 63. Coming to marry you with integrity. All eyes turned to Li Mukin, although most were unaware of the elder's reason for inquiring about Li Mukin's opinion. They could discern the elder's regard for him. The following statement he would make could very well determine Lin Lifeng's fate. Within the Lin family hierarchy, Lin Lifeng ranked third, yet his destiny now rested in the hands of a young outsider. This struck many as peculiar. Yet at that moment, no one dared to question it. Lin Lifeng's gaze held a hint of pleading, yet he lacked the courage to. Chapter 64. I will provide you an explanation 3 months? No one believed Li Mukin's assertion. What a joke. Lin Lai scoffed. Do you think this is child's play? Do you have any idea how many generations the Lin family has labored to achieve today's glory? I understand you possess some medical skills, which may earn you a decent sum, but that pittance holds no weight in the presence of a prestigious family. 3 months. What can be accomplished in 3 months? Are you planning to open a clinic or produce a batch of medicated plasters to sell? Her words elicited a wave of laughter. Indeed, it is inconceivable for anyone to transform from rags to riches within a mere 3 months. Chapter 65. Not a single man among them. Li Mukin smiled gently and remarked, You have been emphasizing the dignity of the Lin family, feeling that my actions against the eldest daughter of the Lin family have brought you shame. Perhaps you long to tear me apart. Yet, have you forgotten that the elder was ensnared by sorcery and has only just returned from the brink of death? The sorcerer is currently residing in the Zhao family, being lavishly entertained. Is this the face you seek to uphold? As these words echoed in the air, a profound silence enveloped the scene. Indeed, the patriarch of a family being schemed against. Such news spreading would be a tremendous disgrace. Declare war on the Zhao family. A voice rang out. Chapter 66. You handle 10 in the courtyard of the Zhao family's western residence. The flowers and plants have been meticulously cleared away, and a wooden stake was erected in the center. Tethered to the stake was a scarecrow. The scarecrow bore talismans affixed to its forehead and chest, inscribed with the name Lin Shangyi and his date of birth. Before the scarecrow lay a rectangular table crafted from purple sandalwood. Upon the table were offerings of 3 fresh sacrifices and a large bowl brimming with still fresh blood. A long-haired elder clad in black appeared to be in a frenzied state, gesticulating wildly while murmuring incantations. Chapter 67. Leave the rest to my brother-in-law Lin Yun, and Li Mukin followed the butler into the Zhao family's reception hall. Zhao Qinyang lounged on the sofa, remaining seated, with a grin as he observed the youthful yet pretentious Lin Yun. Young Master Lin, aren't you attending school today? How have your studies been of late? No need for your concern, young Master Zhao, Lin Yun replied, striving to adopt the demeanor befitting a scion of the Lin family. Then what brings young Master Lin to my abode today? Zhao Qinyang inquired. I have come to seek an explanation, Lin Yun stated. You employed sorcery against my grandfather. You must bring forth that sorcerer. Chapter 68. White Tiger Hall. What? The Zhao family has mobilized the White Tiger Hall? Lin Xiaoxing was taken aback by the news. What is Zhao family up to? Do they truly wish to take Xiao Yun's life? Yan Huimin's voice trembled. No, that cannot be. Lin Xiaoxing shook his head. Zhao Sihai has always been prudent. He would not openly declare war on the Lin family without certainty. Xiao Yun may face some hardships, but his life is not in peril. But what if they seek to kill Xiao Yun? Yan Huimin exclaimed. And that Li Mukin, he is nothing short of a madman. Xiaoxing, you must devise a plan. Chapter 69. My brother-in-law is a monster. What? Defeated? Zhao Sihai stared in disbelief at the butler delivering the report. He had invested a decade hand-picking and training the members of the White Tiger Hall. Thus far, the White Tiger Hall had only intervened once, during the dispute with the Feng family over river transport rights. It was the second master of the Feng family who suffered losses at the hands of the White Tiger Hall, leading them to withdraw from the maritime transport business. On that occasion, only 10 individuals from the White Tiger Hall were dispatched. Zhao Sihai had concealed a portion of their strength. In reality, the White Tiger Hall had grown to 36 members. Chapter 70. Divine celestial purple fire in less than a minute. Every member of the Zhao family's White Tiger Hall, including the Hall Master Zhao Shan, lay sprawled on the ground. Li Mukin stood there, gently brushing off his garments. You. Zhao Shan's eyes brimmed with fear, yet he was filled with indignation. For the sake of the White Tiger Hall, he had endured for over a decade. During these years, the outside world remained oblivious to the existence of a figure like Zhao Shan. Even within the Zhao family, many were unfamiliar with him. He had hoped to make a remarkable entrance after a long silence. Chapter 71. Brother-in-law helps you break through early. The voice of the scarecrow was painfully grating, reminiscent of a dull sickle slicing through aged grass. Those who heard it felt a chill run down their spines. Not only Lin Yun, but even the Zhao family members were startled. Lin Yun thrust his hand between the scarecrow's arms, attempting to free himself, only to discover that this entity, though seemingly frail, coiled around him with the strength of a constricting serpent. Brother-in-law, save me. Lin Yun gasped, his voice hoarse. Save you? I wonder what he will use to rescue you. Wu Xian laughed heartily. Chapter 72. Strike him until he dares not offend, aware that a gun was pointed at him from behind. Li Mukin remained unperturbed, strolling leisurely. This composure left Lin Yun feeling inadequate. In the Lin family's ancestral hall, Lin Yun's impression of Li Mukin was merely favorable. Yet at this moment, he was utterly in awe. Brother-in-law, you are truly remarkable. Our Lin and Zhao families have battled for decades without a clear victor. Yet you alone could bring the Zhao family to ruin. If only I could possess such prowess. When will you teach me martial arts? Li Muchen Chocolat. I have not annihilated the Zhao family. Chapter 73. Uninvited guest, Are you truly going to marry the eldest daughter of the Lin family? Ma Shan exclaimed in surprise, his mouth agape as he drove. Li Mukin gazed out at the tranquil night. The darkness enveloped the surroundings, the streetlights casting a dim glow, with the road stretching into the distance where flickering lights twinkled. These lights reflected the joys and sorrows of countless lives. This is the human world, the mundane realm. The mundane is both bustling and indifferent. Joy and sorrow are known to oneself, while life and death are beyond control. There are some matters I was unaware of before, but now I understand. Chapter 74. Master of Southern Thai, Chi Li Mukin presented the menu to him. Zhou Su didn't even glance at it, pointing at the waitress named Ding Xiang and demanding, "Bring her here." Li Mukin replied coldly, "This is a restaurant, not a KTV. You can only order food, not people." Zhou Su glared, fuming. "How dare you speak like that? Don't you know the customer is king? If you can't even manage a waitress, fetch your boss." Sister May sauntered over, swaying her hips, and cheerfully inquired, "Oh, sir, what seems to be the problem?" Zhou Su stated, "The quality of your waitress is lacking. I demand a replacement." Chapter 75. Uncle Ming's advice. Haha, my friend from the martial world are merely flattering me. Wang Zongxing chuckled. Tai Chi is round and complete. There are no divisions of north and south. As for the title of master, I would not dare to claim it. In the province of Nanjing, only two are universally recognized as masters. Sister May responded, "I have no ties to the Tai Chi school. May I ask what brings Mr. Wang here?" Wang Zongxing remarked, "I have come to Huqing to attend to some matters, and, coincidentally, I carry a message from an old friend." "Oh, may I inquire as to who your esteemed friend is?" Lu Jinsheng. Upon hearing this name, Mei Jie's expression darkened considerably. Chapter 76. A house without a landlord. Lin Shangyi strolled along the shaded paths of the villa, feeling invigorated. The sound of cicadas transports me back to my youth, he mused. Beside him, Lin Chanming said, "Congratulations, sir, on your full recovery. The Lin family may thrive for another century." Lin Shangyi chuckled and shook his head. "Given my wayward descendants, merely preserving this legacy would be a feat. Xiaoxing is far too loyal, merely capable of maintaining the status quo. I had hoped Xiaoping would return from the east to take the helm, yet now the winds have shifted." At this point, the old gentleman was suddenly overcome with melancholy. Lin Chanming spoke up. Chapter 77. No one dares to buy this house. The young man shivered in the cold wind, his face paling in fright. "Gentlemen, please feel free to explore at your leisure," he said, handing a set of keys to Ma Shan. "Is your courage truly that feeble?" Ma Shan retorted, "Are you not concerned we might abscond with the contents within?" The young man replied, "You may take whatever you wish. I shan't venture inside again. Entering once costs me a decade of life." Li Mukin took the keys from Ma Shan, stating, "Let us proceed." The two entered the courtyard. The courtyard was expansive, strewn with fallen leaves, and in the corners. Chapter 78. Setting the trap. After lunch, Ma Shan accompanied Ding Xiang to handle the property transfer paperwork. 3 million, this purchase, combined with the deposit for the villa, left them with just over 600,000. Li Mukin carried 50,000 in cash, tucked into a backpack as he stepped outside. The sign at the entrance of the People's Restaurant read, "Temporarily closed." Li Mukin glanced at it before heading toward the street corner. He knew that at this hour, Mei Jie would certainly be getting her hair done. Upon entering the beauty salon, he inquired, "Where is Mei Jie?" Chapter 79. Losing money and losing people. Initially, Li Mukin fumbled with the cards, appearing clumsy and inept. Such ineptitude could not be feigned. Scarface Lu observed him with a disdainful sneer, while even Mei Jie shook her head in disbelief. This was precisely the effect Li Mukin desired. Only in this manner would the big fish take the bait. After several rounds, he gradually grew more adept. Though he lacked skill, he was perceptive. He understood that Scarface Lu was confident enough to engage in this game. Chapter 80. No negotiation. Mei Jie swiped the last 1 million from her card. Before her lay 1 million in cash, her final stake. Should she lose this round, it would indeed fulfill Scarface Lu's wish, and she would have no choice but to wager her own fate. Fortunately, in this final hand, she emerged victorious. "Ha! At last, I have won." Mei Jie laughed exuberantly, resembling a hen that had just laid an egg. Conversely, Scarface Lu's countenance darkened significantly. Those unaware would surely assume Mei Jie was the victor, while Scarface Lu. Chapter 81. The Nine Lotus Lamps' Sixth Master. The machines are here. Please swipe your card. Mei Jie smiled alluringly. Scarred 6 narrowed his single eye. Even a fool could discern that this woman was well prepared. Mei Jie continued. My machine has a limited quota. I must trouble you to swipe several times. First, swipe 1 million, so we each have 3 million in cash. And the outcome rests on a single hand. Scarred 6 scoffed. No need for such trouble. I can swipe 5 million for you in one go. However, you will only have 4 million in cash. If I swipe 5 million, you will take 4 million, leaving you owing me 1 million. Chapter 82. Celestial Arts. With a resounding slap, Li Mukin placed the final card on the table, plunging the room into an eerie silence. The complete set of Wanzi on the table plainly revealed the conclusion. In this round, Li Mukin emerged victorious. Mei Jie gazed at Li Mukin, her eyes filled with wonder and joy akin to discovering a new world, yet inexplicably tinged with a hint of resentment. In contrast, the last remaining eye of Scarred 6 was filled with frustration and unwillingness. The crew cut suddenly pointed at Li Mukin, exclaiming, "You cheated." Chapter 83. Iron Hand. Buddha's blade feigning anger. Mei Jie pouted, "If you won't speak, then forget it." Li Mukin shrugged, "If you don't believe me, there's nothing I can do." Mei Yi shunt. "Fine, I understand the rules of the 1,000 doors. Consider my words unnecessary." Instead of returning to the popular restaurant, they proceeded to the beauty and hair salon across the street. Only then did Li Mukin realize that this establishment was also owned by Mei Jie. No wonder she came here daily for hair and beauty treatments. Mei Jie granted the staff a break and locked the door. She produced 3 million for Li Mukin, saying, Chapter 84. The end of his unbeaten record. When Ma Shan returned, Li Mukin had already arrived home. "These items you requested are truly difficult to procure. I've nearly traversed the entire Huqing." Ma Shan complained, dumping a large bag onto the floor. "Fosfate, iron ore, mica, agate, graphite." Gold powder, brass, vermilion. Alongside 2 silver dollars from the 1920s. Lastly, a stack of yellow paper, 2 brushes, and a bottle of Realgar wine. Li Mukin casually picked up a stone, weighing it in his hand before setting it down. Chapter 85. Let your son-in-law negotiate. Director Lin. What a rare guest you are. Zhang Dongheng, chairman of Haizhou Hotel, beamed as he extended his hand to shake Lin Xiuxing's. Lin Xiuxing lightly grasped his hand, replying, "You're too kind, Chairman Zhang." "Director Lin, this is my brother's son, Yiping, who is also working at the hotel. He primarily arranged today's meeting." Zhang Dongheng made a point to introduce Zhang Yiping to Lin Xiuxing. "Hello, Uncle Lin," Zhang Yiping greeted. "I am friends with Manqing. We have met before." Lin Xiuxing recalled their encounter. Chapter 86. Treating a dead horse as if alive, feeling constrained. Lin Xiuxing returned home and slammed the contract onto the table. Yan Huimin noticed his troubled expression and consoled him. "What happened, Xiuxing? Did the negotiations fall through?" "It's not a big deal. It's just one collaboration, and there will be plenty of opportunities in the future. Had it simply been a matter of negotiations failing, I could have accepted it. Yet that young Master Chun actually requested that I send someone else to negotiate. How outrageous!" Lin Xiuxing exclaimed indignantly. "Someone else?" Yan Huimin inquired with curiosity. "Who does he wish to replace? Does he expect the old master to personally take charge? As the saying goes, a powerful dragon cannot suppress a local snake. The Chun family wields considerable influence, but for a mere young master to think he can contend with our esteemed elder." Chapter 87. The arrival of the immortal. Upon arriving at the Tianqing Temple, they were greeted by a young Taoist who ushered them into a side hall. "The master is currently in meditation. Please wait a moment," the Taoist said, serving them tea before stepping out. Li Mukin noticed a talisman affixed to the side door of the hall. Approaching it, he observed that it was indeed crafted from fine paper and sand. After a lengthy wait, Zhang Daoyuan finally arrived, bowing respectfully to Feng Tianming. "My apologies for the lack of formal welcome, esteemed second master Feng." Li Mukin's keen perception detected that although Zhang Daoyuan's true energy was flowing, his aura was relaxed, indicating he had not been practicing just prior. Chapter 88. Do not seek me soon. Have you ever stayed in a five-star hotel? Zu su thimak de thi sivao, aving li musen. A five-star establishment. Li Mukin tilted his head, gazing at the building's pristine, gleaming facade bathed in sunlight. I have never had the pleasure. Oh, I forgot. You have just come from the mountains, where such towering structures likely do not exist. Zhou Su continued his mockery. With a smile, Zhang Yiping interjected, no worries. Not everyone can afford a five-star hotel. It's quite normal that you Haven Tea stayed in one. How about this? If you wish to experience it, I shall arrange a room for you by the hour. Chapter 89. A surreal scene. Zhang Yiping's face flushed as he stammered, I apologize, Mr. Li. I was unaware of your acquaintance with young Master Chen, and I assumed. I find this place quite satisfactory. Li Mukin interrupted, turning to young Master Chen. What say you? Chen Wenxue concurred, indeed. As long as young Master Li deems it good, it must surely be so. Zhang Yiping stood dumbfounded. Young Master Li? The young master of the Chun family in Shenzhou referred to him as young Master Li. This was someone who had shown no deference even to the head of the Lin family, let alone to Shun Mingchun of the Shun family in Guqing, who had not even been granted an audience. Chapter 90. Only you dare employ him in plain view of the public. Chen Wenxue savored a roadside French meal, thoroughly satisfied. Despite the Zhang family's efforts to retain him, Chen Wenxue instructed his steward to cancel the presidential suite at the Haizhou Grand Hotel. He then personally drove his Bugatti Veyron, whisking Li Mukin away into the night. Onlookers at the hotel entrance maintained a mutual silence, as if a storm were about to break, and a palpable sense of unease enveloped them all. Only Lin Xiaoxing's heart brimmed with joy, even stirring within him an impulse to burst into song. Chapter 91. Returned from the east, the North Creek Villa was ablaze with light that night. When Li Mukin and Chen Wenxue arrived, they were met at the entrance by Lin Xiaoxing and the entire Lin family, save for the elder Lin Shangyi and some of the womenfolk. Lin Xiaoxing was positively beaming. Just a few hours prior, he had arranged for the Chun family's team to settle in a private club and had conducted preliminary negotiations, eagerly awaiting Chen Wenxue's return to finalize the deal. In the recent competition with several prominent families from Huqing and Xiantang, the Lin family, initially at a disadvantage, managed to turn the tide in their favor. This was not merely a negotiation. Chapter 92. The Ghost Hunt. The following day, the Lin and Chun families dispatched their respective business teams to deliberate on the intricacies of their collaborative investment. Li Mukin did not partake in the dealings between the two families. He merely cautioned Lin Xiaoxing that the misfortunes of the Lin family were likely not yet over and advised him to exercise caution. Lin Xiaoxing did not take the warning to heart. Li Mukin perceived this and chose not to elaborate further. If one does not believe, no amount of persuasion will suffice. He had his own urgent matters to attend to, and he had already procured the necessary red, ochre, and yellow paper. Chapter 93. The white, immortal Ma Shan fixated intently on the pair of embroidered shoes. Initially, he thought he was imagining things. Subsequently, he suspected a lapse in his memory. Surely, these shoes must have been here all along. He simply had not noticed them. With this realization, he felt a sense of relief. Bored and alone, Ma Shan played with his phone for a while before deciding to lie down and sleep. In a hazy slumber, he sensed something pressing down on him. He attempted to open his eyes, but they remained stubbornly shut. Chapter 94. Even beasts know gratitude. Folklore speaks of five immortals: the fox, the weasel, the snake, the rat, and the hedgehog. The transformed fox is referred to as the fox immortal, the weasel as the yellow immortal, the snake as the willow immortal, and the rat as the gray immortal. The white immortal pertains to the hedgehog. Although Ma Shan was not a practitioner, he had heard of the white immortal's renown. Unlike the typical hedgehog, this one on the ground bore pure white quills, and when curled into a ball, it resembled a mound of snow. Presently, this snowy form was ensnared by a slender black vine, as if ink lines had been drawn upon it. Chapter 95. Let us discuss upon your transformation, O immortal. I speak nothing but the truth. If I am to be held accountable, it is for the elderly lady whom I frightened to death. You may punish me as you see fit, but I beseech you to save Mr. Hu. He is a good man and does not deserve such an unjust demise. The hedgehog sat upon the ground, bowing its head in a human-like manner. Ma Shan was moved and said, Myukin, even a beast knows gratitude better than some people. Can you not assist him? Li Myukin shook his head and replied, assuming what it says is true, that mister, who has been submerged at the bottom of the well for 20 years, how could he possibly be saved? Chapter 96. Could this be a ruse? Feng Tianming called Li Myukin, requesting a meeting to discuss the details regarding the confrontation with Wang Zongxing. Li Myukin was initially disinterested. He had previously stated that aside from the time, location, and rules, those could be determined by the opposing party. However, given the similarity between the materials discovered in the well and those from the Tianqing Temple, he felt it necessary to further ascertain Zhang Diyuan's intentions. Additionally, he harbored some curiosity about Mr. Hu. According to the hedgehog, Mr. Hu was a miraculous healer and a truly benevolent individual. Yet he had been submerged in the lake and left with lingering grievances. Chapter 97. The talented ninja beast at the Jianglin Villa. Lin Xiaoheng, leaning on a cane, ambled through the courtyard, his steps uneven. With each stride, his pace quickened, and excitement swelled within him. Suddenly, he cast aside the cane and burst into laughter. Ha ha, Xiaoping, you are incredible. I thought I would spend my entire life in a wheelchair. I never imagined that just a few days with you would restore my mobility. This is nothing short of miraculous. Beside him, Lin Lifeng rejoiced, exclaiming, Xiaoping, who would have thought that during your years in the land of the rising sun, you would acquire such remarkable medical skills. Lin Xiaoping stood nearby. Chapter 98. Young Masterly has none, but youngly has one Lin Xiaoping. You ungrateful wretch. Yin Huiman berated, the old master has treated you so well. How can you utter such words? With an abrupt motion, Lin Xiaoping appeared before her, delivering a resounding slap across her face. Yin Huiman was sent sprawling to the ground, blood spilling from her face. You dare strike my mother? Lin Yin rushed forward, intent on confronting Lin Xiaoping. Trained in martial arts under Lin Chanming, he had developed a solid foundation. Chapter 99. Arriving too quickly, the screech of tires pierced the air as a crimson Porsche left long black streaks on the pavement. Coming to a sudden halt at the entrance of Beishi Villa, Li Myukin emerged from the vehicle, observing the dark clouds hanging over the estate, now more ominous than before. Upon entering the villa, he was met with the sight of injured security personnel strewn across the ground, prompting a frown to mar his brow. Old Master Lin Shangyi stood motionless, like a gnarled old plum tree, stubbornly holding his ground amidst the chaos. Surrounding him were those who lay upon the ground, either dead or wounded. Even though the Lin family was no longer whole, he refused to succumb. Chapter 100. The sword approaches Lin Xiaoheng, alerted by the commotion, stepped out of the house. Upon seeing Li Myukin, an inexplicable fear washed over him. Fortunately, with his brother Lin Xiaoping in front, he found solace. A fierce desire for vengeance ignited within him. Brother, shall I stage a performance with that vixen Lin Manqing right here? I have ample experience in such matters. Lin Xiaoping, noting Li Myukin's stillness, was filled with disdain. You arrived so swiftly. I thought you might have some talent, but it seems you are merely a waste. Chapter 101. Integrity, Beixi Villa. The other members of the Lin family rushed in response to the news. Faced with the scene of devastation and casualties, they stood in bewilderment. The Lin family had not encountered such turmoil in decades. These scions of affluent families, accustomed to wielding power in business and social arenas, found their courage waning in the face of true mortality, bloodshed, and sacrifice, their inner trepidation rivaling that of the security guards outside. Old Master Lin stubbornly remained, his body resembling a withered branch, his gaze hollow as he stared towards the entrance.